or Tom at TrentoVision.tv. Listen and watch every weekday from 3 to 6 p.m. on AM 1470 WNN and TrentoVision.tv. Now, let's get a peek at Tom's view of the world. Here's Tom Trento.
Okay, my view of the world is there is a world out there still, and as much as Obama and all his friends are trying to ruin it, the Tea Party will save the world that's out there, regardless of the attacks from the bad guys. Man, what a weekend. That was pretty wild. Pretty wild. We're going to get into what occurred on Saturday, right where we are seated at the Beasley Broadcasting Company, Boca Raton. A lot of B's in there, alliteration. Beasley Broadcasting Company in Boca Raton, Florida on February 4, 2013 at just a few minutes past 3 o'clock on the East Coast. And if you're watching on Tea Party Community, that's amazing, first of all, if you're really watching, because we got some enemies, folks. We have some opposition. One of them is crawling by me right now.
No, he's on your side.
He's on my side.
Yeah.
Sometimes
be afraid.
Sometimes I wonder. We have some opposition out there, but you know what? Take your shot. Take your best shot there, you little hackers. We'll deal with it a little bit, but right now this is Tom Trento, Trento Vision in South Florida. If you're watching us, then we are simulcasting a video signal through TrentoVision.tv. That signal is also playing on the homepage of TeaPartyCommunity.com. So if you're watching at Tea Party Community, we welcome you. We will be here every day, same time, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, East Coast time. Now, the Tea Party Community with about 100,000 people, that's a lot of peeps. I'm sure it's
more than that.
That's a lot of peeps. We'll check in a minute. Tea Party Community is all over the United States. So you're in how many time zones? Trivia. How many time zones in the United States of America?
I think there's 4.
Eastern, Central.
5.
Eastern, Central, Mountain, Pacific.
And Hawaii.
And then Alaska and Hawaii are on different times.
Are they on the same one?
No.
So 6.
Yeah.
So 6 time zones. Wow. Wow,
Well,
we cover
I think
6
Mountain and
times.
Central are the same.
I think they may be.
Yeah.
Central
so
and Mountain are 2 different time zones.
No. I
No,
don't
they're
think
the
so.
same.
They're the same. 2 hours. No. It's 1 hour. It's only 3 hours.
888-565-1470. If you know how many time zones there are.
Look, it's 12 o'clock
States.
in L.A. It's 3 o'clock here. There ain't nothing else in between.
And you're going to save the world. You know
Yeah,
the
we
time
can't even
zones.
figure out what the time zones are.
Okay, we didn't say we didn't need a little
But
bit of help.
I think there is
Actually,
a difference between
interesting.
Mountain and Central.
The reason there's Central time zone it actually happened was because that's where the railroad started. And when they started the railroads in Chicago area, and that was the Central time zone, and then they went out to the Eastern time zone, and then to the left was.
Oh, and somebody said we're mountains. We're mountain men up
Mountain
here,
time zone,
and they
Pacific
changed
time
it.
zone,
Oh,
right.
okay. In any event, right now, whatever time it is, it's 6 minutes past whatever hour you are living in. We're happy to have you here with us, particularly our new viewers at Tea Party Community, our regular listeners here in South Florida on WNN 1470. WNN 1470. Today we're going to take calls, and I've got a whole bunch of things going on from the weekend. Our number, burn this in your heads. It's a very easy number to understand, okay? The station call numbers are 1470. Just think of that, 1470, right? The 14 is cut in half by 7, and you put a 0 on it. 1470. It's free, 888. All you have to do is remember the middle 3 numbers, 565. All together now, class. 888-565-1470.
I guess we're the class.
Okay. But out there, too. In your automobiles. Okay, everybody in the left lane, 888. Now, all you in Chevrolets, 565-1470. So that's what that's how you reach us today. For our new viewers and listeners, Tea Party community, and you're listening maybe on iHeartRadio. We told you on Saturday at 5 o'clock that we were coming under attack by idiot hackers, and we said one of the redundancies was to download the application iHeartRadio. When you do that, our call letters are WNN. We're in South Florida. So you just search South Florida, WNN, push the little button, crystal clear digital audio. Do that, everybody. You can always back up any of this other crazy stuff going down. You can listen to iHeartRadio. And you know what? A bunch of people did the other day.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, that worked out pretty cool.
Yeah.
And the Cheeto-eating surrender monkeys have not been able to get us today. So
Oh, good.
bring it on, punks. Come on.
Oh.
Yeah. You're popping your peas because he doesn't have
whoa.
What happened? Too loud for you?
That
Lower it.
just blasted my ears.
What, Mike?
Email me the video again.
Yikes.
Haven't received it yet.
Okay. Yeah, we got a little time for that. All right. Tom Trento here, and CJ is with me, Mark and Mike. We got Joe in the booth, keeping the Starship Enterprise headed on point. And what do we do? What are we all about? We are President Obama's worst nightmare. That's all you got to know. For those of you who love Obama, you worship Obama, you're peasants, you view yourself as a peasant. Oh, but wait, Tom, I own a big business. Well, if you buy into the Obama socialist, you're calling him a socialist. Well, yeah. You missed our show last week where we went through Frederick Engels, BFF of Marx and Engels, went through his points of communism. And communism is the end state from capitalism through socialism. And how did it compare, CJ, at all with what this administration seems to be doing?
Gosh, it seems to be the handbook for this administration, doesn't it?
So we are the president's worst nightmare in many respects, particularly in the sector known as national security. That's our area of expertise. We believe if you take an oath to defend the United States Constitution from all enemies, foreign and domestic, that means you ought not have foreign agents from the Muslim Brotherhood working in the White House.
It's a good idea.
That's
yeah.
probably-
I think, keep them out of the. Let's just keep terrorists out of the White House. Let's just start with that.
Probably a good
I think
idea.
that's a good
idea.
sign.
And then if you're sworn officers of the Constitution duly elected in the state of Minnesota, one little lady with the initials MB, not standing for the bad guy MB, if she, as an act of her obligation by sitting on the Permanent Select Intelligence Committee, if she, MB, Michelle Bachmann, says, I think we got some bad Muslim jihadis in the White House, which is her job, and she directs the inspector generals, which she did June 15th of last year, to investigate why Huma, or Huma, however you may say it starts with an H, Huma Abedin. Who is that? Anybody know?
She's
Well,
the
we could go
queen.
way into detail on that. Yes.
Quickie, this is all intro to the new Tea Party people.
Hillary's right-hand girl.
Hillary's chick, okay? If Michelle Bachmann says Huma Abedin needs to be vetted properly, and if the response to that legitimate intelligence question is Senator John McCain condemning, and many others, Michelle Bachmann, to the point where is CARE an unindicted co-conspirator in the largest federal terrorism funding case ever in the history of America?
Yes, Tom.
Yes, but that's only so far.
Oh, so far.
And
So
so
far.
are quite a
I
few
think we'll
other
have to
groups.
wait till another administration comes around to get another trial going.
Oh, and is that the same CARE that initiated a petition to have John Boehner, Speaker of the House, remove Michelle Bachmann from the Standing Intelligence Committee on the House side? Is that the same CARE?
Yes, Tom.
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting. So CARE, who's already been, identified as terrorists, are calling for the person who is identifying terrorists, Michelle Bachmann, to be removed. Tell me the world isn't upside down, or at least 1600 isn't upside down, which would make it 0019. We should start calling it that. 0019.
0019.
Yeah, 0019. The new agents at 0019.
Yeah, let's just wink at each other when we say that. What's happening at 0019?
So we have expertise in the area of national security, and we have a lot of good friends out there that have way more expertise than we do, and we bring them on occasionally.
Well, Tom, tell them about the Sharia, the Threat to America book, and that you're one of the 19 co-authors. And please explain to them who are the other 19 co-authors to get.
Who the other 18 are?
Yes.
Oh, the other 18 are. If I'm one of them. See, one from 18, one from 19 is 18. You can put the book
He's
up
got
there.
0019 on the
He's got
brain.
that.
0091.
He's got that. Oh, 0091. I thought it might be wrong. Okay, Agent 91. We've been corrected, folks.
Yes.
Only the
By our
third
control
time.
No, we've been spanked.
Only the third time today in 12
Look
minutes.
what my screen is doing.
It's Agent 0091. That's who the president is. Agent 91. Maxwell Smart was what? Agent 86, right?
86, yeah.
91 was the chick, I think, right?
99.
Oh,
Boy, you do
99.
not know your
You don't
kid's
know no
smart.
stuff.
Nothing.
Don't know my spy sitcoms. In any event, I had an opportunity to participate in a year-long project where 19 of us got together, and each was identified for a particular area of national security expertise, and we were tasked with writing a chapter on a certain theme, which was the theme of Sharia, the legal system for Islam, being the real threat to America. In one respect, a Muslim is not a threat to America. A Muslim is a human being. They may want to believe, they can believe in Mickey Mouse if they want to. They can believe in anything they want to. But if they believe in the Sharia, which is their legal doctrine, if they don't, they're not really Muslim, but they can make believe they are. We don't care what's going on in their psychological head. But if they believe in the Sharia, then by definition, that is that doctrine is the doctrine that propagates positions and conclusions that are the enemy of the United States and the enemy of us. So we don't hate Muslims. We hate a doctrine that seeks to destroy America. And why
Which is
shouldn't we?
completely
And it's their words.
incompatible with
Why
our
shouldn't we?
This is not-
Constitution.
Yeah, this is not your words, Tom. This is their words. You believe what they say, and you look at the Muslim Brotherhood and all what they say and write, and they're antithetic to everything that we stand for in America.
So with that framework, about 2.5 years ago, a group of us got together, from Frank Gaffney, who was the spearhead of this, to Marcus smelling the inside of his shoes. What was that all about?
I knew it smelled like socks in here.
No. That was some other smell. That was like carpet smell. No,
It smells like a locker room in here.
in here
guys.
it really
Yeah.
does. And we came in.
We
and
need
it
some
was so rough.
Febreze or something.
How come Mark predicted that you would be complaining about the smell in here?
Did he?
Yes, he did. He said the diva.
Oh no.
The diva's not going to like the smell in here. But in any event, I was tasked with writing the action section.
Speaking of which, where's my green M&Ms?
I was tasked with Sharia, the threat to America, with writing, okay, all this stuff is great. What are we going to do about it? And I wrote the plan for a national plan for implementing activists to stop the jihad, stop the Sharia in the United States of America. And we're moving along with that plan. What is that plan? We'll never tell you because there's some bad guys listening and watching. Just guess, okay? All right, but Jim Woolsey, former director of the CIA, one of our authors, Claire Lopez, 20-year agent, operations officer, Andrew McCarthy, prosecutor, Southern District, New York, put the blind sheikh in jail where he needs to stay. Mohammed Morsi is coming here in March, president of Egypt. He's going to ask for the blind sheikh to be let free.
And Andrew McCarthy is
Yeah.
also a New York Times best-selling author, two-time best-selling author.
Grand Jihad.
I
Grand
think,
Jihad.
yeah.
What's the other book?
The other book is
Willful blindness.
Willful Blindness. That was about the 93 Trade Center bombings and the willful blindness of the Justice Department and all of this. And it goes. The list goes on and on and on. You put up a slide, Mike, for Sharia, the threat to America?
Okay, you're watching on Tea Party Community, right? Okay, I'm watching on Trento Vision,
too.
and it won't play on Trento
It's playing
Vision.
perfectly on mine.
It's your machine.
It's your machine.
It's your little.
It's your,
It's called your
pocket computer. That's
We
what
call
is.
it your POS machine.
POS.
What does that mean?
Point of service.
Oh, no. Piece of service. Piece of service.
Piece of service machine.
Oh,
You got to watch that mic with you.
Scorch.
That mic is hot. All right. Anyway, so we deal with national security issues here but we also make jihad fun.
It's not right.
We deal with so many serious. I mean,
Okay, I disappeared again.
So many issues that just make you want to go, okay, why don't I jump off the Brooklyn Bridge? But then you go, what good is that going to do? But we do bring a little bit of reality to this, and sometimes this stuff is so absurd you just got to laugh or you're going to go nuts. Seriously. So we entertain a little bit here.
We make jihad fun.
We make jihad fun. A little bit by design, most of it by just flopping around. Okay, Mark's smelling his shoes, and I see that, and we draw attention to it. 888-565. If you smell your shoes too, give us a call.
I didn't know if I stepped in anything.
888-565-1470.
Well, yes, you have.
Yes, you have. All right, now, what we also do for our, can you check the viewers, YouTube there? We also, for you new viewers on Tea Party Community, one of our mission statements, Trento Vision, and Trento Vision is the communication arm of our counterterrorism educational organization, The United West. Go to The United West, THE UnitedWest.org. That's our website with all the counter-jihad, all the Muslim Brotherhood information, all the teaching, all the videos. Trento Vision is simply a portal for quick daily information and for our show. That's how the two relate. If you go to the United West and read our mission statement, you'll see that one of our objectives is to defend the Constitution of the United States of America. And I think Tea Party people have a similar concern,
Yes, I
if I'm
think
not
they do.
mistaken. We believe that, as Justice Scalia said recently, the Constitution is dead, dead, dead. He shook a few people up that way.
Yes, he
And
did.
he said, it is not as the left, paraphrasing him a little bit, it is not as the left want us to believe, a living, breathing document that George Soros or Michael Moore or President Obama or anyone can just massage into
Eric
having
Holder.
it say, Eric Holder, whatever they want to say. It is a foundation made out of brick and mortar, and the foundation stays there. What you can build upon it differs, the political views of men differ, but the principles articulated through 225 years of case law. We have a body of law that has been determined. That is what the country is. And if you argue with that, when this whole revolution, this ideological revolution that we're living in now, that everybody's going, what the heck has happened to America? John Kennedy gave his famous ask not. If you can finish that statement, John Kennedy's ask not, we will give you a free cookie. You have to, no, we can't give out cookies.
No, we're not
I would
giving
like
out
to do that.
cookies except for donations of $100 or more.
Yes, we'll give you a round of applause if you can tell me, without looking it up and Googling, what the whole statement is, ask not John F. Kennedy, and what the date was. But that is a real dividing line in America, because shortly after that, the country turned inward and became in contradistinction. Our belief system was in contradistinction to President Kennedy's challenge on his inaugural speech on that day. I'll give you the month, okay? On that day in January.
Yes.
All you got to do is go back and say, have the past, you just pull the plug out or something, and there's a big, when your foot hits something, there's a big buzz. There it is, just stopped. All you have to do is say, what all you have to do is say, was there more stability in the way Americans functioned, believed, acted, lived before the 60s or after the 60s, particularly in terms of ethics, of morality, of family values, these things that Tea Party people see so critically important, and that many in the left see as irrelevant anymore. What's a family? Family's whatever you want it to be.
Well,
Me
it's
and my
not,
4 homosexual
it's not
friends.
just that it's irrelevant. It's an obstacle to their goals. That's something entirely worse.
Well, yeah. Once you, in order to change a culture, you just can't disagree with its foundational principles. You've got to change the way people think about those foundational principles. So there's a whole process, and this happens in every age. It just happens more quickly now that we have iPhones and texting, all of that. And particularly, let's look at the construct of the typical American family: mother, father, kids. I mean, it wasn't even a question. Now, people laugh at the fact that a mother and father and kids, what are you crazy? You know, I got a gay lover over here, and I got a lesbian girlfriend over here, and I got this over here, and, you know, and we kind of like our pet over here, and this is our family. Who are you to tell? Who are you? This is called a postmodern switch. Who are you? Well, I am someone who still holds to the principles of Aristotelian logic, that A, does not equal non-A, those strange things like that. Well, this is the kind of stuff we do here. And we pulverize the ideas and the absurdities of the left. But if they got a good idea and they can persuade us, that's fine too, and you guys can call. So this is all by way of introduction to you new Tea Party people. What's the number? Without saying it out loud.
The number? Oh.
Of viewers.
There's two. I'll tell you.
Okay, get to it. Yeah, hold it for the break. All right, anyway, that's by way of introduction to Tea Party people. So here's what we do. We defend the U.S. Constitution. We fight the jihad. It's very, very important because that's increasing in the United States of America. And in that context, we have a national security partner, one up north, Canada. We work very closely with Canada. We have national security partners in Europe. Some we work more closely with than others. We have a national security party at the partner at our southern border, sort of. Would you call Mexico a national security partner?
A national insecurity partner.
Yeah.
National insecurity.
Yeah.
A national gun ready
Supposed
partner.
to be a partner. And then if you go real far away to another time zone where Mark used to work, we have in Australia. They're one of our national security partners. They have a Western view of the world, a Judeo-Christian basis. And they join with us in fighting Nazism, communism, Muslimism, jihadism, all this sort of stuff. But we also have a national security partner in the Middle East by the name of
Israel.
Israel. We have the country of Israel as a national security partner. Now, in Australia, it's a little safer neighborhood there than and a little safer neighborhood in Canada. The Jews in Israel, they kind of live in a rough neighborhood. So that would make it that much more important for us to work closely with them, because they're in the neighborhood where the bad guys are originating to kill you and your family out there, Mr. and Mrs. Tea Party people. Thus, we see Israel as a forward operating base for American intelligence, even American military, to help us fight against all the bad guys worldwide, but primarily against the jihadists that want to implement jihad, establish a caliphate, and then establish through all of that Sharia law. That's why we stand with Israel.
Yes.
But we just don't simply talk about national security. We cover the gamut of economy. We cover all the way down
Taxes,
to drilling. And but what we try to really do is get into detail of the issues and actually bring the information at its factual source. The best research information we can find. Now, it's going to be differing than you're going to hear from who's that knucklehead that's
Went off.
No, that might be your computer.
no, and who's the knucklehead who spreads all the crazy stuff around? What's his name?
Oh, how about a million of those kind
Yeah,
of...
No, the
I
one
think
that-
you need to be more specific.
Oh, he got lambasted by slip of my tongue.
Don't get that specific. Okay, let me move on. Get your thoughts together. You're sniffing something too much, I think.
No, he
Don't
did-
breathe the air in here.
on MSNBC on
Oh.
the British guy. He got land-based. What's his name?
Piers Morgan.
Pierce Morgan.
Yes, yes.
Land-based.
You gave us a little bit of hints there. We at least got
Okay,
down.
well,
to,
this
You
is like
didn't even
50
come
questions.
close to
Okay.
hinting.
No, but Pierce Morgan and the guy who he land-based Pierce Morgan, the guy who he land-based.
Alex Jones.
That's it. Thank
Oh,
you. God,
okay,
I couldn't think of his
okay.
name. It saved my
Okay.
life. But Alex Jones, I said, we don't give out Alex Jones type information.
Conspiracy here, this, that. No,
We actually base it in fact, and a lot of times we go against the popular belief,
Mm-hmm.
and we're not simply against Democrats only. I mean, we land-based Republicans for their, inequities.
We're gonna fry Karl Rove on this show, and then before the end of the day, we're gonna fry Karl Rove. You know why?
Why?
Karl Rove launched a new initiative to shut down our good friends at the Tea Party. He's viewing the Tea Party, Karl Rove, President George Bush's brain, the same brain which let in Muslim jihadis into the Bush White House in the first term too. Karl Rove has come out in the past couple of days with an initiative and a series of big funders, big donors, Republican donors, to save the Republican Party by ostracizing and hindering and limiting the effectiveness of the right wing, which we would be considered, and or of the Tea Party, which we obviously are promoting and helping promote through our participation in launching the Tea Party and being on the website now. So we're going to get into Karl Rove too, but your point is well taken, Mark. Though our expertise is in national security, we recognize that the fiscal cliff and the debt crisis and the management of money in this country and the extreme taxes all work together to weaken the national security infrastructure and national security assets of the United States of America. And folks, this is no big surprise. President Obama wants to take the military dividend that he's going to recoup, he believes, from ending two wars, ending them miserably, by the way. There were attacks over the weekend in Iraq. Iraq's going to explode, as is Afghanistan. He wants to take that money and throw a few pennies into future military development, but he's got to pay for Obamacare. He's got to pay for food stamps. He's got to pay for free schooling, and he's going to have to pay for 11 million immigrants getting amnesty in the United States of America. So he's solidifying the Democrat voting bloc by deconstructing the absolute superpower strength of the United States military, and we all know that. So we're comprehensive in our work, and we don't make any money doing this. Speaking of that, if you'd like to keep the circus in town, you can go to TrentoVision.tv. TrentoVision.tv. There's a little button right there. I'm looking at
actually,
it.
you can go to YouTube and make a donation too. We get right under the YouTube. We have a donation button right under YouTube.
You can go there. You can go wherever you're watching and just click on Donate Securely. And then donate generously. It's tax exempt. You'll get a receipt from us that you can use to put on your donation portion of your taxes for the calendar year 2013. We appreciate that. If you'd like to advertise with us, if you'd like us to do spots on your stuff like we do on Organigold, and I'm getting messages from our Organigold folks.
Well, I am not getting any shipments
Yes.
from our Organigold friends, so I'm not talking about their coffee anymore. How about that?
Hey, Tom, what do you want? You
You want me to talk about Organigold? Send me some coffee.
We want coffee. But
Good grief. You think I'm here for my health?
What about really clean dishes? Do we have that little spot?
Oh, you need warning for
No,
that.
I know.
Yeah.
Do we have it?
It's on here.
Okay, go find
Okay.
that. You tell me when it's ready, and I'll point to you.
Yeah.
You point at me, and I'll point to you. Really Clean Dishes is one of our sponsors. We can't do that? Oh, we can't do that.
We
The
can't do
director
that.
is telling us we can't do that. Can we talk about it? Okay, I thought it was like they repealed the product and it's caused dishes to melt or something. Tell us about Really Clean Dishes.
Oh, that would be me?
Yes, yes.
Ah, okay.
It's your cue for me to get a drink of water. It's getting hot in here, 77.
Yeah, it is really hot in here. Okay, Really Clean Dishes is a little tablet additive that you add to your dishwashing cycle, and you add it to your regular dishwashing detergent in the dishwasher, and it makes your glasses and your dishes and your cutlery come out sparkling clean. Really Clean Dishes.
Okay. Where do they go? ReallyCleanDishes.com.
ReallyCleanDishes.com. They've got a great website. It's very inexpensive, and it just so happens to be that the people who own the company are on our side, fighting the good fight every single day.
So are the
when
organic
you
old people.
when you support them, you support a really good business by really good people who care about this country.
And if you need a lawyer, our lawyer of choice by design is Peter Feynman, Feynman Law. And right now, I know somebody is driving on I-95. They're going, oh, damn, I got to get a lawyer. I can't believe what just happened. I got that stupid phone call. The guy's going to sue me. Where am I going to get a good lawyer? Ah, the heavens are opening. Ooh, we need heavenly music. Peter Feynman. This is God speaking.
Peter Feynman.
What? That's the whole idea.
And the number is
the whole idea.
561-734-5552.
When
That's
God speaks, the mics get blown out.
561-734-5552. Okay.
So God
I'm
just spoke
sitting
to you.
here in the studio with God and his little angels today.
But Peter,
Should I take my shoes off? Am I on holy ground? Is that why it smells in here?
but I would defer to Peter as opposed to this God if you need a good lawyer. Okay, so let's do that. And then when you're getting up in the morning and you want to know what should I think, how do I know what's going on in the world, who should I look at for direction? Turn to WNN 1470. No, we won't be there in the morning. We got to sleep sometime and do some work. But Brian, Craig, and Steve Kane start at WNN 1470 every morning, 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock. And CJ, I was driving in my automobile today.
Yes.
And I'm listening to Brian and Steve.
Yes.
And all of a sudden I go, oh my word. That voice sounds familiar. Guess who it was?
It was you?
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
Who was it?
It was
It was God.
the disembodied voice.
Ah.
Why were you, Mark, disembodied voice on Steve and Brian's show?
Well, I was giving them an alert of what happened to the Tea Party community over the weekend, where they actually shut down the service because of a 450,000 packets per second denial of service attack.
Oh, so you were briefing them on it,
Mhm.
and what were they? What was their thinking, Brian and Steve?
Well, the question that always comes up, well, was it just a surge from from your hits from because you were on Fox News and
Yeah.
Okay.
We're down on YouTube and on Trento Vision.
Okay, but we're not down on the radio.
No.
Good old WNN 1470. You figured out how to keep us on the air, even though all this fancy dancy video stuff flowing through little wires all over the place gets a little hectic at times. What is that little whistle? Oh, that's his thing. Okay.
That's Mark's phone.
Oh, it's okay.
You have a message.
All right, are we up and running?
Yeah, we're up.
Okay.
We're up.
Let me see.
And
this.
we're off.
No, we're not.
And we're off and running.
You gotta refresh it. There we go.
Yeah.
And we're up on Tea Party. All right, now
We're up on everywhere.
let's review, kids, what happened on Saturday. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's start with Friday. Friday we met two wonderful people.
Yes.
Who were those people? Mike, do you remember?
Yeah, Ken and Jan.
Ken and Jan. That's right. Ken who?
Ken Crow and
Tell us
Jan
about-
Morgan.
You tell us about Ken. You tell us about Jan, Mark.
Jan is a former news anchor back in Louisiana area, and then she left there because the liberal politics was just so overrampant. She finally had enough of it and got fed up with it, and now she's a small arms trainer.
Small arms. Yeah.
Well, AK-47s and stuff like that. I mean, a gun trainer, but it's not bazookas or anything like that. So firearms trainer, and she does a really great job, and she's a patriot that's trying to save our country.
Okay, and
and
Ken. Tell us about Ken.
And Ken Crow is the Tea Party community co-founder with Tim Salady Jr.
And both of them have fascinating backgrounds. Ken's been very involved in Tea Party community and Tea Party politics, and involved in politics way before the Tea Party even existed. He found a forum and an outlet through the Tea Party.
Yeah.
And it was his idea. Ken Crow. You can Google Ken Crow.
Yeah, I don't want to say too much about him. If I didn't tell him I was going to. I forgot to ask. Like, oh, can I say that? Can I say that? Can I say that?
Yeah, he's a public figure. We can say. But Ken got together with Tim Salady, Tim and Tim's son Tim Jr., and they had an idea of an alternative communications network to Facebook, where Facebook, as we all know, has leftist leanings, and if you get too precise in your conservative politic, you run into obstacles. Plus, it's becoming just so gigantic that the management of it is a little tricky. So they thought they can just create a niche operation.
One thing I don't understand about it is if it's so big, how do they seem to find everybody who does a conservative post and tell them to be quiet and you're getting shut down?
Well, they have algorithms that actually go out there and search for it, CJ. They put in keywords.
Do they put in keyword like Constitution, and anybody who posts something on the Constitution gets watched?
Stuff like that, anti-Obama or anything like that. They'll go pull it, and it's not just at the the grassroots level. It's actually at the more senior levels too. Like for example, at the grassroots level,
more stuff. You finding anything?
Okay. Hey, all right.
I'm sending you one right now. I'm sending you one right now.
And at the grassroots level,
Mort just sent me a beautiful piece. He must have just done it. There you go.
And they started banning people just at the local level, and also they started banning senior reporters too, like the Fox News people and stuff like that, on their posts, and started really just saying you're not allowed to post items on here. So that's what they were doing, and they do actually have algorithms going out there and finding them.
So then this is really a necessary service.
Right. I think what's happened with Facebook, in all honesty, I think they've just gotten too big for their britches, and then they started to think that they can now control the narrative.
Now they own the world.
Yeah. Now they can control the narrative and the message, and they stopped caring about the masses of people and thinking that they actually had a voice out there.
We could establish that
It
Facebook
kind of reminds me of like in the Soviet Union, when everybody had to be underground and self-published, and I kind of feel like we're the communications underground for the conservative movement in this country.
Yeah, and what's happened is in all honesty, the liberal left actually rules the internet right now as far as the social media, Twitters, Googles, and everything else like that, and they're just trying to shut everybody else down because they don't want any competition. It's just they want the messages stop and shut down. That's the reason we got attacked. We don't attack on the right, when liberals speak, but they do when we speak. And so it's classic socialism and Marxism, if you will. You have to control the media and the messages, and it even goes over to Islamic Jihad, where they have to control the messages too, where you're not allowed to have any art, entertainment, or anything like that. And so
they must be really afraid of what it is that we're saying.
Oh, they're terrified. They're absolutely terrified of what the Tea Party community represents. That's the reason they call them haters. Is because it's such an innocuous term. Nobody knows what hater is.
An extremist.
Extremist haters, and I've been to many Tea Party functions, and as well as everybody else here has, and you don't see that. They don't leave trash all over the place. They pick up after themselves.
You can always tell when there's been a Tea Party rally or a Democrat Party function.
Now you go to the Occupy movement. On the other hand,
who leaves the litter on the landscape? Litter bugs.
It's a core personality difference. It's a completely core personality difference
Yeah.
of who is who.
All right, in terms of particularly for you Tea Party folks that missed all of this on Saturday, the genesis for the start, the structure, the framework of TeaPartyCommunity.com was that these three founders, Tim, and Ken, saw that they can design something that's just more efficient, more effective than this big, slow, dumb thing, Facebook. So they started this kind of special forces element of communication. And originally, that a couple thousand people were interested in a beta format. One step led to another, and a Fox writer a week ago wrote a story about it, which then was sent out all over, and overnight there's 10,000 people and 20,000 and 30,000 and 40,000 and 50,000. And then Ken Crow, that we just spoke about, one of the founders, last Saturday morning, 2 days ago, was on Fox and Friends with Clayton Morris.
Right.
And by the end of the day, it was up to 80 or 90,000 members.
Yeah.
It touched a nerve in the conservative community. But let's see what our caller thinks about all of this.
Okay, we have Judah on the line.
Yes. Good
Hi,
afternoon.
welcome to
you.
Monday. Welcome to a new week.
Good afternoon, CJ, Mark, Tom,
Hey, Judah,
and
how
Mike.
you
Is
doing?
the last name?
Yep, that's Mike over there. Yep. Did you get the?
Well, I usually call about the Tea Party, but I still am of the strong, very strong conviction that unless the Tea Party transforms itself into a Christian revivalist movement, which will go ahead and start attacking the immorality, moral relativity, and unethicality, if I may use that term, at the local and municipal and state governments, it's not going to go anywhere. Tea Party will be a no starter. But that's just one man's opinion. But the reason I called is because you mentioned, Tom, a little while ago, you were speaking about CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations. Now, the Bill O'Reilly program, the O'Reilly Factor, is generally a very good program, but continuously, intermittently, they have had representatives of CARE on their program.
Nihat Ayawad recently, just
Yeah.
last talking about Coke.
Yeah.
Exactly, Mark. Nihat Awad. I've called the Fox Comments line and have voiced my strong opposition,
Good
my
for
outrage
you.
at having the representatives of that group. I just sent off, because you mentioned Nihat Awad being on this past week, I just sent off an email to O'Reilly, the O'Reilly Factor, and I said, your producers are wrong in having them on, and this is the reason why, blah, 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 blah. And so I'm actually calling because I think there needs to be a call for action on behalf of your listeners to email or call Fox News, call the O'Reilly program. Email the O'Reilly program, O'Reilly@foxnews.com, and complain that this is an ongoing thing.
Yeah, it's been going on. It's been going on for years,
Yeah.
Judah. I mean,
But it's disgusting, though. It's despicable. would
one second.
O'Reilly have representatives of the American Nazi Party on?
yeah,
I mean,
I know
I
it's
don't think so.
it's exactly it, but he doesn't call them. It'd be like bringing the American Nazi Party on and not calling them for what they are.
Right, exactly.
Nazis, and it's the same thing with CARE. I mean, he's done it multiple times. He called Ibrahim Hooper a stand-up guy. I go, oh, yeah, you're a real stand-up guy, Ibrahim Hooper, and he's a spokesperson for CARE. And this is blatant ignorance or willful blindness, as Andrew McCarthy called it.
Yeah.
And we've had people that brief the producers of Fox News of everything like this, and it's actually they know about it, yet they keep doing it.
Well, you know why they do it?
Unbelievable.
Because they can't find a non-Muslim Brotherhood affiliated Muslim in this country who speaks of concerns to Muslims in this country.
Well,
That's why.
There is one out there.
And you can't just have Judy Zasser on TV all day and all night. I mean, there has to be Zudi Jasser. Sorry.
Is that his sister?
His sister, Zeta Jasser,
No, you know what I mean.
Zusi Jasser.
Yeah, you can't. I mean,
Okay,
he's
if
like
I
the
may-
only one. And go find somebody, because if there really are Muslims in this country who are not affiliated with the Muslim Brotherhood, who are not going to mosques that fund terrorism, who are not looking to impose Sharia compliance through the courts of the United States, then who are they? Where are they? They're quiet. They're not going on O'Reilly or anywhere else in this country that we can hear them.
All right, thanks,
Because
Judah.
You don't always have to have fair and balanced. I mean, sometimes he doesn't have fair and balanced on his program. I've watched it.
Of course,
He just-
you make a good point.
I mean, I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying, CJ, but you don't have to have fair and balanced all the time.
I don't think there's
fair
anything
and balanced
fair
with
or
the-
balanced of giving your enemies.
Okay, we're going to bring on the Nazi party
microphone.
here for the fair and balanced view of black
Let's
black
have
men
the
in
Grand
America.
Wizard of the KKK on our show today to tell us
Right.
why
About
these
human rights, right.
Zionist Jews in the United States have taken over the world.
You're absolutely right.
So
You're
that's
all right.
that's the problem. All right, thanks, Judah. Good call.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate it. Yeah, I've done a lot of talk stuff, and I've had crazy people on my shows, and the crazier the better in many respects. Crazy in terms of crazy views, but they have an influence in society.
Right.
But you've got to you can't just do a fair and balanced thing. You got to say, you're a danger to society. You're a menace, and he doesn't do that. O'Reilly's not
No.
doing it. Hannity used to do that with some of these people, but Alawi bin Talal, the Saudi prince that owns 9%, I think he's calmed everybody down there.
Right.
And I watched the Bill O'Reilly piece. Did you watch it with Nihad Awad?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I would have liked for him to go after the guy. He kind of threw a couple little smacks at him, but
Actually, we
what are
did
you
a-
doing,
we did- I
Nihad?
did-
You're worried about stuff. You guys crack me up. He's
I did
mocking him a
I did a
little.
little piece on the.
Well, we should tell everybody what it is. If you watched the Super Bowl yesterday, one of the commercials was a takeoff on a race. Basically, it was some sort of bizarre race in the desert to reach the Coca-Cola bottle, which turns out to be a mirage. And they did a homage to various movies by cutting to Mad Max and cutting to the bus with all the crazy women and all of this.
Yeah.
Well, one of them, a guy was on a camel in a desert. You would think a camel and an Arab in a desert. And the Muslims complained about that. They complained that they're being stereotyped as as camel jockeys, dumb camel
Coke
jockeys.
is racist.
in a-
Coke is
Because,
racist.
yeah,
Coke is
because
racist.
there's no Arabs who
I
live
mean,
in the desert, and there are no camels in the desert, and therefore there are no
I mean, how rid-
Arabs who ride camels in
How
the desert.
ridiculous do you have to be to think that Coca-Cola is actually racist? I mean, what insane
Yeah, I know.
person do you have to?
But we know. So on its face, the complaint and the musings and woe is me's of Nihad Awad, president or executive director of CARE nationally. He's an unindicted co-conspirator. We know for a fact that he wasn't there just trying to get. He knew exactly what he was doing. The Muslim Brotherhood manual for influencing Americans in an Islamic thought pattern is you take advantage of every one of these opportunities to victimize yourself, to make the dumb Democrats feel even more sorry for you, and to look at the big multinational corporation that's suppressing the rights of Muslims. It was all a propaganda move, and O'Reilly should have said that. He should have said, hey, let me read your handbook here, how you guys are doing this. You're a fraud, Nihad Awad. I'm calling you out right now as a fraud. I would have made the guy walk off the show.
Right.
You just fry the guy right there to walk off the show.
But he doesn't do that. He goes out there.
Well,
reaches-
he'll never come back. So that's one of the reasons why some guys don't fry him real fast. They want him to come back.
But he doesn't.
But you gotta
he's not-
smack him
but he's
around,
not,
yeah.
he's not setting him up for anything. He's lovey-dovey and kissing
Yeah.
him, getting him legitimacy,
Yep.
and that's the problem.
And that's a big dude, Nihad Awad.
And yeah, he's the.
We should try to get him on here. I don't think he did.
No, he'll never come on here. To check us, we'll call him out.
So
And
how do we get into all of this stuff?
Jonah. called this?
Judah.
Jonah.
In the way.
Okay, we're all getting the names wrong
But
today.
Judah had a very, very important point that we'll pick up in the second hour.
Yeah.
He said that, well, his point was on care, obviously, and that we need to have a movement to tell Fox what to do. I think we do. I think we're going to continue to do that. But his original comment was interesting element of the Tea Party. He said, Tea Party's not going to be effective unless the Christian component has initiates some sort of revival, some spiritual revival.
Yes.
Now, I don't know. I'm all for a spiritual revival. I think they're pretty good historically. I don't know if that should be a focus de facto of the Tea Party, or if it should be in just a parallel. First of all, it's hard to start a revival.
I think it's a cultural revival that he's talking about of traditional Christian values.
That is something
which
that can
people
be.
can affect in this country.
Do you think the Tea Party can effect, which means to make it happen, not to be a result of, but to make it happen, a cultural revolution in the United States that returns Americans back to traditional values, whatever those are? You think so?
Yeah.
888-565-1470. Tell us after the top of the
break.
hour.
Yeah.
If you are a young man living in the United States, please pay attention to this important message. All men ages 18 to 26 living in the United States must register with the Selective Service System. Registration is the law. Failure to register affects your eligibility for many benefits, like federal jobs, job training, and college loans. And if you're an immigrant, no matter what your status, you must be registered to qualify for citizenship. Men are urged to learn the facts at sss.gov, the official source for information about Selective Service. This has been a message of this radio station and the Selective Service System. Men, that's sss.gov, or go to your local post office to register.
AM 1470, WNN, with more of what you need to know. Don't miss Barry's Supplement Hour, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 11 a.m. and Tuesdays at noon on South Florida's Health and Wealth Network, AM 1470, WNN.
The war had been going on for 2 years, and I got the calling. I got the calling to join the service and support the boys over there.
Thousands of American troops have come home from the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, suffering the effects of post-traumatic stress and traumatic brain injuries.
I never thought that I would have PTSD. I thought that I had enough coping skills.
I don't think anybody who goes into combat could ever honestly say that they're not different when they come home.
What you take as a simple thing is not so simple for me anymore.
I'm gonna have my good days and my bad days, and I really don't like those bad days.
I would say to those people that are out there, don't brush us aside and don't count us out.
Help the USO support these troops and their families. Hear more of their stories at usoinvisiblewounds.org. The wounds are invisible, the stories are real.
Live in concert, it's the big band experience of Denver and the Mile High Orchestra. A little funk, a lot of swing. Denver and the Mile High Orchestra will put some sizzle in your soul. You'll be tapping your toes all the way back to the 30s when the Cool Cats of Denver and the incomparable Mile High Orchestra take the stage by storm.
And that stage will be the Wellington Amphitheater, Saturday, February 9th at 7 p.m. Join Denver and the Mile High Orchestra as they debut their latest project, Mile High Hymns. Again, that's Saturday, February 9th at 7 p.m., the Wellington Amphitheater. For tickets, call 561-793-5670, 561-793-5670, or or online at fbcwellington.com.
Don't miss your opportunity to see Denver and the Mile High Orchestra.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girl in Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
This is Health and Wealth Radio, AM 1470, WWNN Pompano Beach, and WKIS HD3, Boca Raton, Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
IRN USA Radio News, I'm Hope Duggar. In defiance of the United States and in an early challenge of new Secretary of State John Kerry, Pakistan has confirmed it will complete a pipeline deal with Iran, which will supply Pakistan with natural gas for years to come. Here's correspondent Sean Scott Ferguson.
This was not supposed to happen while Iran's nuclear program remained unresolved. Ironically, Kerry was a leading supporter of aid to Pakistan when he was chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. This is a good reminder of the type of so-called allies of the United States who benefit from billions of dollars of American taxpayer aid each year. I'm Sean Scott Ferguson, IRN USA News.
For the first time, President Obama has taken his campaign for new gun restrictions on the road. In Minnesota today, he's looking for support from the public and from law enforcement for his proposals to stem gun violence. The reinstatement of the assault weapons ban is expected to be the toughest challenge facing Obama. This is IRN USA Radio News.
I will never forget the day my son Jeremy told me he hated me and slammed the door in my face. I'm behavioral therapist Janet Lehman. Behavior problems can turn the child you love and your life into a nightmare. That's why my husband James and I created the Total Transformation, the step-by-step program that shows you how to fix the worst behavior problems and get your child to respect and listen to you again. No matter what the behavior, defiance, backtalk, angry outbursts, disrespect, we can help you stop it. Now you can get the Total Transformation for free. All you need to do is get the program and let us know how it works for you. You can keep it forever for free.
Limited number of free programs available. Call now. 1-800-893-4392. 1-800-893-4392. That's 1-800-893-4392. 1-800-893-4392.
A judge at Guantanamo Bay says he's seen no evidence the government eavesdropped on private conversations between the prisoner accused of orchestrating the attack on the USS Cole and his lawyers. Army Colonel James Pohl denied a defense motion Monday to hold a pretrial hearing for Abdul Rahim al-Nashiri. Pohl called a recess so defense lawyers can decide whether to continue representing al-Nashiri despite their lingering suspicion that the CIA can monitor their privileged conversations. The Palestinian militant group Hamas says Israel has arrested 20 of its members, including 3 lawmakers in a West Bank raid. Several Hamas officials say the arrest took place early Monday across the territory. They say 3 of those arrested are Hamas lawmakers. Afghan President Hamid Karzai says security in southern Helmand province was better before the arrival of British troops. Karzai was in London today for meetings with British Prime Minister David Cameron and Pakistani President Asif Ali Zardari to discuss prospects for peace talks with the Taliban. He says he expects fighting to diminish once NATO forces withdraw. For the latest news and analysis, log on to IRNUSAnews.com.
At Grainger, we understand running a facility means wearing a lot of hats. One minute you're replacing a condenser fan motor, the next you're swapping out fluorescent bulbs. That's why we offer over 900,000 products in 31 product categories, many ready right when you need them, from HVAC equipment to safety supplies. Whatever you need, even if it's a new hat. Yeah, we've got those too. To help keep your business running efficiently, call, click Grainger.com, or stop by a branch today. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Former Massachusetts Governor William Weld says he will not run in the special election to succeed John Kerry in the U.S. Senate. The Republican said in a brief statement today that he was grateful for the encouragement he has received, but that he would not be a candidate. Weld served as governor from 1991 to 1997. He later moved to New York, but recently returned to Massachusetts to join the Mintz-Levin law firm. That firm released a statement Monday on Weld's behalf. Republicans have been scrambling to find a candidate for the special election since former Senator Scott Brown's announcement Friday that he had decided against a run. Scientists in Britain have confirmed that a skeleton found under a parking lot is England's King Richard III. Here's Charles de Ledesma.
The medieval remains were unearthed last year in the city of Leicester. Now, following a study of the bones, a team from the university there says the skeleton is the king who died at the Battle of Bosworth Field in 1485. DNA from the remains matches a sample taken from a distant living relative of King Richard's sister. The last English monarch to die in battle, Richard III, was depicted in a Shakespeare play as a hunchbacked usurper who left a trail of bones on his way to the throne. Charles de Ledesma, London.
The driver of a tour bus in Southern California says the bus had brake problems before it struck two vehicles, killing at least 8 people and injuring 38. The bus carrying Mexican tourists was headed down a mountain road Sunday night on its way out of the San Bernardino National Forest. Some of the victims' injuries are described as life-threatening. With IRN, U.S.
Here's some great news from Tom Trento, host of the daily WNN Trento Vision Show. Due to the unparalleled success of the Trento Vision Show, you now have an amazing opportunity to advertise on the Trento Vision Show. If you want more information about this excellent opportunity for your business, please contact Tom Trento at 561-319-5533, or you can email him, tom@trentovision.tv. The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Welcome to Trento Vision, where bad ideas get pulverized and the truth will set you free. Trento Vision is hosted by Tom Trento. Tom can be reached at 561-319-5533 or tom@trentovision.tv. Listen and watch every weekday from 3 to 6 p.m. on AM 1470 WNN and trentovision.tv. Now, let's get a peek at Tom's view of the world. Here's Tom Trento.
Okay, we're back. Tom Trento. Stuff coming out of my mouth. It's not good. Radio etiquette, is it? Well, it's fine, radio etiquette. Nothing wrong with food flying out of your mouth when you're speaking on the radio. But when people are watching, what was that? Oh, we had a couple hundred, 200 or 300 the other day there, with a couple thousand there. But when you're on TrentoVision.tv, you do not want food flying out of your mouth as you're speaking to people who are very close to their computer screens looking at you. So all of you future internet television people, remember that little rule as we... You're not in your mic or something. Your mic. No, it's not on. Something's not happening with your mic.
Kenny?
Nope. You have no mic.
I have no mic.
You have no mic. CJ has no mic. Somebody, and we have no mic, and CJ with no mic.
Stopped.
There we go. Now CJ has a mic.
Do I have a mic now?
Oh, my word. Yes, you do have a mic now. All right, we're back, Tom. TrentoVision.tv on the video side. That means that it controls that somehow. That means that if you are watching...
Yikes!
Sorry about that.
Folks, you get what you pay for with help nowadays, okay?
That'll teach you to screw with
Yeah, if you're watching and listening to this extravaganza, you're on TrentoVision.tv on the watching side. On the listening side, WNN 1470. Our topic right now is Mort. Mr. Mort. Mike, so just sit over there. You can walk by. Go ahead. We have concluded the contest. There's a pair of glasses on the floor. And where are we with the Mortsart contest, CJ? Bring everybody up to speed.
Well, we're going to have some wine and cigars one night this week, and we're going to go over all the submissions, and then we're going to invite Mort to commiserate with us and choose the winner and contact the winner.
No, we choose the winner.
No, we will choose the winner.
Oh, right, and give it to him.
And give it to him, and then we will check with the winner of the contest. And ask if the winner wants to have his or her name announced on the radio, or if the winner prefers to be John or Jane
anonymously
Doe.
Anonymously awarded.
John or Jane Doe.
Okay,
yeah.
that's cool. That's cool. All right, so that's with Mort. You know that our preferred and referred attorney is Peter Feynman, Feynman Law. Phone number for Feynman Law?
Phone number for Feynman Law is area code 561 734-5552.
And to give you a little behind-the-scenes look and listen, if you're just on the radio side, we have a couple of computers going, several computers going. We're obviously broadcasting a video signal. CJ has a computer and her
sort of
phone. Yeah, I have a computer and a phone. I'm getting emails. I'm getting calls at times and texts live with any breaking information. Here's something about our friend MD Alam. And the Bare Naked Islam website that he's trying. Attention, Bare Naked Islam readers. Muslim stealth jihadists plan to hijack this year's 9/11 anniversary with a million Muslim march in Washington, D.C. to demand special treatment for Muslims. And then MD actually weighed in and said, you people are all wrong. I'm not a terrorist. I'm a nice guy. We have to bring him back for sure.
Yeah. As himself.
Danita said that the smell in this studio can gag a maggot. So I've never heard those terms put together, gag a maggot, but I guess she didn't appreciate the aroma. This is.
Well, there were only 11 of us in here on that last day that she was here.
Yeah. But what we're doing right now, 4:30, we're going to have a guest call in. His name is Eric Estrada. Anybody ever hear of the name Eric Estrada by any chance?
Yes.
Was that a rhetorical question, or was that just a real
Were
question?
we supposed? Yeah, you need to give us a thumbs up or something when you want us to actually answer.
I was looking in that little machine there. See if people.
That one over there.
Eric Estrada is the Chips Punch, right? Wasn't he Punch?
Yeah.
Punch on Chips, CHIPS. Mike, you know what that stands for?
Chips. I know Eric Estrada. That's about it. I don't know.
California Highway Patrol.
You ever get pulled over by the California Highway Patrol?
No, actually, yeah, I have.
They're the Chips, California Highway Patrol. It's
those
an
are the ones on
acronym.
motorcycles, or are they chips when they're in cars too?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question for Eric.
Yeah.
You can ask him that. But Eric now has a new movie out. Eric apparently became a Christian at some point in his life and has made these faith and family films. And this one is entitled Finding Faith. But he hooked up, Eric did, with our very dear friend Jason Campbell, who was with CAN, Christian Action Network.
Yes.
And they spent the last year and a half making this movie, actually inspired by actual events. Caught in a Web, a Family Prevails, and it's over surfing on the internet. It's a movie about teenagers, young girls, I think, surfing on the internet and then getting trapped into the slave trade movement and all of that, and sexual slaves and crazy stuff. So, and he's touring the country right now, Eric and Jason. I sent it to you. And they are showing the movie wherever, at large churches, small churches. So we're going to talk to him, and he'll tell us all about it. That's at 4:30.
I was just
15
turning your
minutes.
screen around because it was showing.
Oh, this thing, Faith.
Yeah, I don't know if...
Yeah, no, I could see that. That's the
Yeah.
website, Finding Faith Film. So Eric will be on at 4:30. We can talk to him a little bit. But this is really, we're saying hello to many of our... Are we on Tea Party Community? Okay, so we're live on the Tea Party Community. I want to go back to Saturday and welcome all of you. And then after Eric, we're going to get into some of the national security issues. In particular, Syria now is flexing its muscle, whatever muscle it has left, and threatening to attack Israel. Now, that may sound foolish on its face, but when you're desperate and you have at your disposal literally tons of chemical and biological weapons, You can do a lot of damage in your death throes for sure. So we need to be watching that. We'll talk about that. But let's replay Saturday for the folks that weren't able to be here. We had a great show going on in the studio. We had Jan Morgan.
Phone lines were burning up.
Phone lines were burning. What were you doing back there, CJ? You were answering the calls. What was going on back there?
Well, it was total chaos. I mean, all the calls were all stacked up. People were on hold for long periods of time. I was getting phone calls and emails after the show by people complaining that the lines were busy and they never could get through. Everybody wanted to weigh in. Everybody wanted to talk to Jan Morgan and Ken Crow, that's for sure, and especially Jan.
Yeah. She has 300.
She has a lot of followers on her Facebook, and I'm sure she's well, put it this way, Jan's got over 300,000 Facebook friends.
Wow. Or followers, I think it is.
Or followers, or
you only
whatever
allowed 5,000 friends.
Okay,
which
so
is a
she
stupid
has
thing.
over 300,000 followers. So if all of those people move over to the Tea Party community, whew, and that's just one person's followers.
Oh, I never thought of that.
That's just one person's followers.
All right, so Jan Morgan was here, and you can find out about her. Go to janmorgan.com, janmorganmedia.com.
And she's possibly launching a political career. Ken Crow wants to launch her for a Senate career.
Yeah, he thinks she's a lot like Sarah Palin. She's very articulate, very intelligent, and very friendly woman. We met them. We spent about a couple of days with them, and both Ken and Jan. And I think that's because there's sort of a similar philosophical base where we operate from. We all hit it off, and it was like kindred spirits, like we've known each other for a long time.
Right.
That's part of the beauty of being in a community. For those of you in the Tea Party community, when you're with people of like mind, and we spend a lot of our time with people of unlike mind.
Yes.
Fighting these people.
And people with no minds at all.
And with no minds, yeah. But it's always nice to come around folks of like mind, and you don't have to argue about whether or not it's right to, kill innocent human beings, whether or not it's right to have a constitution that says my opponent will exist until we obliterate them.
Yeah.
My peace partner will exist until we obliterate them. It's
my peace partner will exist until I'm armed enough.
Yeah, to kill them.
To kill them.
Because they are like apes and pigs. So it's nice to be around like-minded people. That's one of the benefits of being involved with the Tea Party.
Yeah.
What are?
Well, you know what it reminds me of? When I lived in Seattle, and I lived in Seattle for 14 years before I moved back to South Florida, and I just felt really, really isolated.
Yep.
It's a very, very liberal city. And I remember during the elections of 2000 and 2004, people who had, Republican Party stickers, George Bush bumper stickers, had their had rocks thrown at their windows and their cars vandalized, and people who had Israeli flags in the windows of their houses next to the American flag, had rocks thrown through their windows. So really intolerant, and it was very isolating to be conservative in Seattle.
I would think so,
and if
sure.
If there had been at the time a Tea Party community for me to join, I certainly would have joined it, because I really was out there in no man's land by myself.
Well, and the irony of all of that is, in this a very eclectic and chaotic and crowded world, it's very easy to feel isolated and alone. And one of the benefits, as CJ is saying right now, with a like-minded community is you're only as alone as you are far away from your computer. I mean, this is unheard of. All of us who were involved in activism 20 years ago, no one would have imagined that you can connect with thousands of people through a little device on your lap. I mean, it just was inconceivable. Well, now it's a real live situation. And what we tried to do on Saturday, notwithstanding the attacks, we'll tell you about the attacks in a second. What we tried to do was show you a couple of the leaders in the Tea Party community, Jan and Ken, and then show you how this new communications hub, Tea Party Community, can bring together people from all walks of life, from all stages of life, whether you're working 3 jobs to make ends meet, or whether you own, you're a captain of industry and you own 3 yachts to bring your friends out. If you're interested in retaining and reviving the principles of the Constitution, if you're interested in limited government, in limited spending, in fiscal responsibility, you're together with the folks in the Tea Party community. And that's what Saturday was about. Now, it was interrupted by the hackers, and Mark alluded to the hackers in the last hour. Just briefly, what happened is people that are our ideological enemies, people on the left, many Democrats, though there are Democrats that are part of the Tea Party community, and these are the old line,
traditional liberal,
Kennedy Democrats,
traditional classic liberals.
But the contemporary Democrats, as illustrated by Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, these folks, they're so far afield from where our thinking is in terms of what makes this country great that we don't know exactly who initiated the attack, but the attack was at such a sophisticated level that it was not somebody's 15-year-old cousin in his cellar saying, let's shut down Tea Party community. Mark alluded to earlier the level of sophistication and the aggressiveness of the attack that occurred 5 minutes to 5 p.m. this past Saturday, 2 days ago, that literally shut Tea Party community site down. We were getting 450,000 people trying to open the home page at the same time. Problem was they weren't really people. There were automated signals going to servers, 450,000 per second. To show you how absurd that is, in 8 or 10 minutes, everyone in the United States would have tried to get on TeaPartyCommunity.com. It simply overloaded the technological capability of the servers, and even worse, we got an email saying your attack is spilling over to other companies that we host. Therefore, we're pulling the plug on you guys. And they literally pulled the plug at one point to shut the website down completely to protect their other clients,
right?
Who was the people providing the deal. So we had an idea that there'd be some problems.
Right.
So we had redundancy built in. We had 3 cameras. One was a master camera just shooting the video, so that if all our broadcasting fell apart, we'd have a master video camera, edit the video of the show, then put it up on YouTube later. We didn't have to do that because not only did we stream through Ustream, send the signal out through a company called Ustream, but we sent a signal out through a company called YouTube. So we had our signal going 2 different places. We told you about iHeartRadio, and we were on WNN. So we were in 4 or 5 different places. The only place that really got the bad attack was Tea Party Community, which was our main premiere of the show. So it did shut us down. Those guys won round 1 that way.
Yeah.
You can see that show on TeaPartyCommunity.com. But what we want to do now for a couple of minutes, let's take a call, then we'll...
But also, if you want to read more and get into more detail about the actual hack attack, you can go to BizPackReview.com, and BizPack Review founder and chief executive Jack Furnari wrote a very good article talking about this attack. So BizPackReview.com. This is definitely a news site that you want to check every day.
Okay.
And we have Jim on the line.
Hey, Jim, you're with Tom, CJ, Mike, and Mark. How are you?
I'm great.
Good.
Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I am a first-time listener. and really new to taking a hard look at the Tea Party. And I'm trying to figure you guys out. Judah called before, and the Tea Party really just needs to take a hard stand on morality. And then I hear you say that the Tea Party stands for limited government. And being what I consider a very conservative evangelical Christian, politically conservative, guys like Ron Paul, Rand Paul, a lot of the libertarians really make sense to me, because I'm going to follow my personal morality in the way that I see fit, but I don't think it's the role of government, and I don't see that in the Constitution, to impose any form of religious morality on my neighbor, my gay neighbor who wants to marry his gay partner. Obviously, pro-life, pro-choice is a no-brainer. You don't kill babies, whether they're in or outside of the womb. But can you help me kind of figure out, is the Tea Party just spread out all over the place, or is there a libertarian wing? Would Rand Paul be a good representative? Karl Rove obviously would not, and his guys, Mitt Romney, I'm assuming, would not be a Tea Party favorite. Who's a high-profile spokesman that I can look at and I can say, yeah, that kind of I can get behind that guy in 2016.
Where are you calling from, Jim?
I'm in Vieira, Florida, Central East Coast.
Okay. CJ wants to respond first, and then when she's done, I'll share some thoughts.
Just on one comment before the question. I don't think any of us, and I don't think anybody in the Tea Party really is advocating for the government to dictate anybody's individual morality or religious beliefs, and I think when we talk about a cultural revival of traditional values, we're not talking about having the government tell us what those are. I think individuals such as yourselves, such as ourselves, know what those values are, and we behave a certain way every day, and we try to influence the people around us through our own personal behavior, and I think that's what we're talking about. And then I'll let Tom answer the question about individuals.
Yeah, your question as to what is, and I asked this the other day of Ken and Jan. I said, give me a one-sentence, two-sentence definition of the Tea Party. And Bill, Wild Bill for America gave a very good definition of a group of Tea Party are individuals that are fed up with the expansive and expansive role of the federal government in all areas of people, and particularly moving them into a leftist or socialist direction. Fed up with the government doing that. But here's the big picture. 2013 is going to be a year for the Tea Party to figure out what its core principles are. And one of our good friends, Danita, who runs the Tea Party Fort Lauderdale, has put essentially a manifesto together of about 10 or 15 core principles. But some Tea Party, I'm giving you the problems that exist right now, Jim, but they're all good problems. They're all problems on the good side of determining how to save America. None of the problems I'm identifying for you harm America. They're more methodological problems or activism problems, not philosophical problems.
Yeah.
We all believe the Constitution is the founding document and needs to be preserved and protected. But Danita has 10, 12 principles. Some of the early Tea Party groups say, hey, taxed enough already, which is where the word Tea Party came from. It's an acronym, taxed, T-E-A, taxed enough already. So the primary focus of the Tea Party is on fiscal issues. We want restraint in federal spending. We want limited government intrusion. And we want a balanced budget. And some of the Tea Party purists will say nothing else. Now, when you define the Tea Party from a primarily from an economic perspective, Then the Pauls, Ron Paul, Rand Paul, fit in very, very well. Some of their libertarian views coincide with because they're so strong on fiscal responsibility. But here's the rub now. Particularly Ron Paul, when you spoke to him about national security, spoke to him about foreign policy, he said he is not an isolationist, but he's a non-interventionist. And I go, okay, what is that all about? Yeah, well, I don't believe in isolation, Ron Paul would say, but I'm non-intervention. I don't want to intervene. So it's a cute little play on words to simply get to the same place, that the hell with everything else going on out there. We need to take care of ourselves here. That would be wonderful if we didn't have supersonic missiles and communication and transportation that bridged thousands of miles in seconds. Now we have lethal individuals in lethal countries with lethality that could destroy America. So you have to have a foreign policy that addresses particularly the Islamic Jihad. Well, that's becoming a problem for a lot of Tea Party people that don't want to get into the jihad and national security. Those of us, Tom Trento and the folks here, you following all this, Jim? I'm giving you kind of a quick timeline.
No, I'm with you.
All right. Since the Tea Party started, we have been begging and pleading with many Tea Party officials, leaders, and members. Listen to what we have to say. This administration is infiltrated with Muslim jihadis. They hate the Constitution. We're defending it. But it's not Tea Party principles. Well, thankfully, the Tea Party in the past year, most of the members, some of the leadership are starting to see we've got to bring in national security concerns. We've got to bring in immigration. We've got to bring in border control. We've got to expand the reach and purposes of the Tea Party. So what we see, Trento Vision here, we see the year 2013 as the year for the Tea Party family to primarily sort out all of these distinctions. And I think what will come out of it, and I think the TeaPartyCommunity.com website is an absolutely perfect communications modality to accomplish this. I think you're going to have a core of people that agreed to a manifesto, a Tea Party manifesto that has maybe 8 or 10 principles that goes beyond just economic issues, just limited government, includes border issues, includes immigration, and includes national security. Will it include abortion and all of those things? Maybe, maybe not. I think there's going to be subgroups within the Tea Party movement that may have a primary focus on the abortion issue. And their argument is extremely strong that you cannot have a successful family, no matter how many people are in your family, you cannot have a successful family, whether it's 4 people, 5 people, 10 people, if you abuse the youngest member of that family. If your purpose is to abuse the youngest member of the family, there's going to be discord and destruction within a family unit. Well, if you extrapolate from that and take as national policy the destruction of the weakest member of a family, unborn babies, or on the other end of the spectrum, the elderly, if you pick both of those as expedient target groups because of a utilitarian philosophy, you can't have a good country. It's not going to succeed. That's the philosophical argument that people in bioethics make on abortion, euthanasia, and infanticide. But I think there'll be subgroups because that's a little more nuanced, that argument, versus 11 million Mexicans are coming into Texas. What do we do about that? That's a little more clear and present danger. But 2013 is going to be a year to shake all of this out. And so you need to come with an open mind, look at the Tea Party as a way to help you accomplish your objective as an evangelical Christian in activism. Let me ask you this. What do you do now to take your evangelical viewpoint and help save America?
That would be true mainly with what CJ was describing, and that's just my personal sphere of influence.
And what do you do? I mean, what does that mean?
What do I do? I I live my life as if there's a God watching. I love my neighbor. If I have an opportunity through what I call relationship evangelism, I will obviously share my beliefs with others, and coming from a Christian, just personal relationship perspective, God has done a lot through that. To me, that has nothing to do with politics, nothing to do with our Constitution, nothing to do with our country. I think the whole American Christian, the whole Christian America thing is nonsense. You look at the founders and you look at the personal lives, and it's nonsense. And I know I can start sounding like a whack job now. We homeschooled all three of our kids. Okay, I read all the very right wing history books that the homeschooling community was using, and it's bogus. Benjamin Franklin was partying in France, getting their money during the Revolution. So, and there's numerous examples. So, I mean, the whole Christian nation thing, we were never meant to be a Christian nation. It's freedom of religion. It's freedom from a state religion. So, and that's important because the other guys are the majority. Then you become a Muslim nation. Then you become a this nation. Then you become a that nation. So we can't be any nation if we're strict constitutionalists, in my opinion. So I hope that sort of answers your question. And
well, it raises more questions.
Little bit, yeah, it does, and a little bit extra.
Well, hang on. It raises questions, and Mark's going to ask you a question now, and then we'll talk a little bit.
Let's talk a little bit.
No, 5:45. I got a 4:45. He got a change.
Okay. Did I hear you correctly that you say we were not founded as a Christian nation? And I mean, qualify what I'm saying. I'm not a Christian, and I am actually a Unitarian, and so this is not coming from a Christian angle. Did you say we were not founded as a Christian, Judeo-Christian nation?
I would say if you read the Constitution, you.
I'm saying if you read your history when you come back to the American founders,
what is our founding
strictly.
document?
Hold on, let me finish. Let me finish. I'm not going to attack you. I'm just questioning your sources.
Yes.
If you go back to reading the founding documents, reading the papers of what happened, you will clearly see. Have you heard of David Barton?
No.
You had not.
Probably.
I tell you what I want you to do. This is simply an educational thing here, okay? Please go look at David Barton's works, his body of works. He sources everything back to the original transcribed platforms of each individual person. So he actually really goes into depth on this. And if you Google David Barton, you'll see where I'm coming from. And you'll clearly, evidentially stated, and this is not coming from a Christian, ideology. I used to think like you thought until I actually started looking at his, clearly documented work, which shows, oh God, yeah, we were actually founded on a Judeo-Christian ideology, and I had to stand corrected. I actually was at your point at one point in my teaching and my schooling, but I was wrong.
No, I believe the ideology drove the founders, but when the founders created the document,
I'm going to have to disagree with you, sir. I'm really going to have to disagree with this.
Well, please quote from me the Constitution, the founding document of our nation.
One nation under God. It was a Judeo-Christian God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I mean, I don't even really go past that.
I think that's the Pledge of Allegiance.
I'm just saying. Well, I'm just saying that's where
that's the theme. Yes.
Well, that's the whole theme. That's the whole theme of the whole Constitution. You go back to the original source documents. Please do that. I'm not going to sit here and argue with you over each individual.
Well, let me ask
you
questions.
I said, I mean, I don't think what we're talking about is mutually exclusive. I don't think anybody here is advocating for the government to dictate anybody's personal behavior or anybody's personal religious beliefs. We do not advocate for that.
No.
So I really don't this is like a false argument.
No, what I'm saying is he says it wasn't based on Judeo-Christian principles, and he's factually wrong on that issue. However, where it is factually correct, I think is the overall premise was that not to have the government dictate what religion you should practice, because there's many faiths to be practiced by that.
Well, we have a couple of minutes before we have our guest caller. He's coming at 4:45. Let me ask Jim a couple of questions, see if we can meander through this a bit. And we appreciate you calling, and you can go to our website, theunitedwest.org, theunitedwest.org, when we're done on the call, and you can see a little more about the kind of counterterrorism work we do. But what flavor evangelical Christian are you?
Sort of, let's say, sort of Southern Baptist.
Okay, so how long have you been an evangelical Christian?
30 years.
Oh, a long time. What kind of work do you do?
I'm self-employed. I own a media company. I turn magazines into iPad apps.
You turn magazines into iPad apps. Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah. That's interesting. All right, so
you want to know?
how
4 years to the same woman, have three adult children who are all thriving. Been in Florida for 40 years. 54 years old. And again, been a Christian.
Bank account number, please.
How did you find our show?
Through the Tea Party community site.
Okay.
I think somebody hit me up on Twitter.
Earlier, you mentioned that I asked you, what have you done as an evangelical with your activism, and you told me that you basically you told me a very private outworking of your faith with friends and family.
Right.
But that wasn't my question. My question was, what have you done publicly to save America? What, over these 30 years as a serious evangelical Christian, what have you done to try to keep America from falling apart like we all say it's falling apart?
Nothing. That's the rub here, is that I don't think that I should be trying to influence the government to cause the government to become more Christian or more.
That's not what we're saying.
Well, what government are you talking about?
The United States of America.
Well, let's take it a step at a time.
What are we talking? If we're talking about the kingdom.
No, let's take it.
I've been working for the kingdom for 30 years.
No, let's take it. No. Let's take it a step at a time. You live in Viera, is that what you said?
Yes, Central East Coast. I'm about 7 miles west of Melbourne Beach.
All right, I'm going to ask you a question, and based upon your answer, we're going to establish a principle that's going to radicalize your thinking. Okay?
Okay.
You ready for that?
And I didn't call to argue, by the way.
No, we're not arguing.
It sounds like this is almost contentious, and
no.
Really, I don't want to argue. I'm trying to figure this out.
We're gonna help you. I happen to be an evangelical Christian also. I have a Jewish woman in here, a Unitarian, and I'm the evangelical. Okay, but you live in Viera. You have a city council, I guess.
No, it's unincorporated county.
Okay, so you have county commissioners.
Yes.
All right. Suppose they vote tomorrow to ban all Jewish people from Viera. Would you say, I have no role in government, I just talk to people, or would you try to influence them? Suppose they said, next week we're going to vote, and we're going to vote to ban all Jewish people from Viera. Would you feel a public responsibility or obligation to influence them to vote against that proposition?
I would. That proposition against any religion, unless it was a harmful religion, such as people participating in satanic rituals. Yes.
Well, you're confusing me. You said you don't think you should be involved in influencing politics, but now you just told me you should be at certain points.
I was thinking on the national level.
Let's start local, and we can work our way right up.
In other words, I brought up gay marriage before.
Okay.
It's
perfectly
fine in Jim's world for the state of Florida to outlaw gay marriage. It's also perfectly fine in Jim's world to legalize gay marriage.
Okay.
Same thing for marijuana use, which is far less harmful than alcohol, and everybody who's ever done both knows it. What I'm talking about is on the federal level. If you start saying United States of America is this, this is legal in the United States.
No, I understand that, Jim.
That's where you're in violation of the Constitution.
I understand exactly what you mean, and I think you're starting to understand where I'm going, and you're starting to get a little nervous. I'm establishing a principle from which an individual directs their life. Eric is on the line. But we're going to have to continue this, Jim, a little later because we have our special guest, Eric Estrada. Do you remember Eric Estrada?
I remember Eric Estrada.
Listen to the show. We've been waiting for him to call in. We're going to talk with him a little bit. So, Jim, do call back because I think we can provide some information that may be very helpful for you as a Christian to focus your energy and join with us on a lot of this, okay?
I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Thanks for calling. I appreciate it.
You take care. All right, Tom Trento, 44 minutes past 4 o'clock in Boca Raton, Florida on WNN 1470 on the radio side. On the video side, you're watching on TrentoVision.tv or you're watching on TeaPartyCommunity.com. Is that Tea Party Community thing going good?
Or you're watching on YouTube, too.
Or you're watching on YouTube or Ustream even. There's a whole bunch of ways.
And iHeartRadio.
No excuse not to watch.
But
lots of places
no
to
matter
see
how
it.
many ways you can watch, you're not going to see our next guest because he was not able to Skype in, but his voice is with us. Eric, are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Yay! Hi.
How you doing, Eric? We're privileged to have you on the show with us. Your executive producer, Jason Campbell, is a very close and very dear friend of all of us in Trento Vision here. We got your picture up. There you go. Hey, you're looking good, man. You're looking handsome.
Yeah, he's aged pretty well, actually.
Yeah.
Just what everybody wants to hear.
Yeah.
What a nice thing to say. You're aging well.
He looks great.
Anyway, that's okay.
Yeah, you're looking great.
Thank you.
You've been doing quite a bit through these years. You're focusing quite a bit in the ministry. Give everybody a little quick background from Chips, back when Chips was a hot show on TV, to your pilgrimage through Christianity to what you're doing today, please.
Well, before Chips, way before Chips, the very first movie I ever did was a movie called The Cross in the Switchblade.
That's right, of course, yeah.
Okay, I was 19 when I got that role. Through improvisational auditions, and finally I brought a switchblade to the audition and pulled it out in one of the scenes and got me the job.
Pretty good.
But every time I would audition, I'd run to the church, St. Paul the Apostle Church, and I'd run in there and say, Jesus, oh, Lord God, I just auditioned for this movie. I got to get this movie. I got to prove to my mother that I can do it, because I was going to be a New York cop,
Okay.
I wanted always to be a cop. And then I changed my mind due to a pretty girl in high school who was in drama club. And since I grew up in Spanish Harlem in the streets, I said, God, I grew up on the streets, man. I can act. So I auditioned, and I got into the acting, and I got bit by the acting bug. So I put the cop thing aside, and then I chased it. And, and every time I would audition for this role, and they say, okay, we want you to come back, I'd run to church and thank God and say, look, God, please, I got to get this. I got to prove to my mom. I got to get her out of the projects. I need this job. Oh, Lord, please, Jesus, Lord, Jesus. Just crazy young kid. And then I got the job, and, I had the Stations of the Cross done at this church, and it was great. And then I proceeded on and on and on and on. And then being in the very first Christian movie ever done, now I've just finished a movie. Well, I did that last July, a faith-based movie called Finding Faith. Based, I'm also now a real police officer.
Oh, you are?
Oh, cool.
Yes, sir. I'm an ICAC investigator. ICAC is ICAC. It's Internet Crimes Against Children.
Oh.
There's a big thing. There's this movie that we did called Finding Faith. I'm taking it, hand carrying it to over 1,500 to 2,000 churches around the country.
Wow.
Because it's faith-based, but it's a true story about a young girl a couple of years ago posted a picture of herself on her smartphone, and the bad guy saw it and said, wow, what a pretty thing. I could sell this. I want to take that. And he went after it. But in the sense that these kids are posting pictures of themselves, they're getting in chat rooms, and they're getting groomed They're getting groomed by online sexual predators who are in your living room, who are in your smartphone, who are in your cell phone, and they're just a click away. And no one is teaching our children in schools what it should be a mandated thing in schools, internet safety education. Yep. And so I got involved with the sheriff of Virginia, and my goal is to get it put in every school in this country, mandated. In the meantime, I do the work, because I want to walk the talk. I actually go on arrests in cases of online sexual predators. So we decided to make a movie about it just so everybody, every grandmother and every mother and father could bring and granddad can bring their nephews and nieces and children to see this movie, because they need to be woken up of what's going on out there. It's no longer the bad guy on the street. He's in your living room. So what's the best way to prevent from a child being taken off the internet? Education. So we have a program. People can go to safesurfingusa.org to find out about this, the NetSmart system of internet safety education. I do a lot of motorcycle rides, a lot of fundraising to make the software, to give to teachers to teach the program at no cost to the school, the parents, or the state, or anybody. All right?
Yeah.
So, and the program is age-appropriate, interactive from K to 12. And, you get a kid in school, and all through his high school, all the way through to high school, he'll have his once or twice a month class of internet safety. Because the internet's here to stay, and it's a great tool for education, entertainment, communication, and purchase things. And it's just a great tool, but it's also a very dangerous place. The bad guys are click away, and we need to educate our children, because once a child's innocent is taken in that manner, they never get it back. And so this is the type of movie I'm back to doing, and I got another movie coming out, but that movie is sci-fi, and that's on the Sci-Fi Channel in March. But that's another issue. This is my passion here. And
now we heard, Eric, I heard you had a premiere a couple of weeks back at Thomas Rhodes Baptist Church. How many people were there? How'd the premiere go?
The premiere was wonderful. We filled the entire church and the two side churches.
Wow.
Cool.
We filled it. I mean, really packed it. And I want people to know that all they got to do is go to findandsafefilm.com and inquire about us coming to your church and bringing the film to your church.
Oh, and how much does that cost?
Don't cost them nothing. We bring it free. What's it going to cost?
You mean if we want to have a showing in Boca Raton, you'll come down to Boca Raton?
In your church, and yeah, why not?
And do we have to pay for you to stay at a swell hotel, or how does that work?
No, you don't pay for a hotel. You don't pay the airfare. You don't pay for my frog wow or my yogurt.
Are you green M&Ms or anything, huh?
I think we should arrange one of these showings.
Well, our engineer who left, I was telling him you were coming on, but he finished work. He goes to a fairly significant church in Wellington, Florida.
Yeah.
And he goes, we have movie nights all the time. So I think
Boca Raton Synagogue.
Yeah, I think when we could, because we got a couple of minutes left in this segment because you were backed up. I guess you've been doing radio interviews all day, right?
Tonight I got a church here. I'm in Ohio right now. We got a big church tonight in Ohio that we're going to screen the movie at. We're over here. We're going to Temple, Akron, Ohio church.
Yeah, well, guess what, Eric?
What, babe?
When you walk out of your car, it's going to be like 5 degrees. It's 80 degrees where I am right now, man.
I know. Well, listen, I go back home tomorrow to LA for 1 week, and then boom, I'm on the road for another 30 days.
There you go.
Churches,
LA's got
Northern
great weather.
Florida. We're hitting Tennessee, Raleigh. We're hitting churches, Chattanooga, everywhere. So,
and you're doing the road with Jason Campbell. That's a blast. Let me tell you,
that's a fun road. That's a fun road trip. Yeah.
Let's do this because we're pushing the end of our segment. We will coordinate with Jason, have you on when you guys can Skype in, and we'll do some heavy promotion on you coming in. We have the trailer. I mean, we'll take an hour. We'll do a whole hour. We'll try to get you hooked up with churches here in South Florida. How about that?
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. That's the way to go. Kids have got to see this movie.
We're with you. We're with you 100%. This is critically important.
No, this is excellent idea. I mean, just on a multitude of levels.
Yep.
Yeah.
We got about 1 minute left, Eric.
Can
in this
we?
segment.
Is this? Can you post the findingfaithfilm.com trailer site on the Tea Party community website?
Yeah, it's actually streaming on there right now.
It is. Okay,
I've
good.
actually got the.
Oh, we're streaming it. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to stream the trailer.
So there's at least 100,000 people just had access to your film.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, I'm actually streaming it right now. If you watch it, you'll see it pop up on the thing. I was getting ready to play the audio itself.
Hey, Eric, take 30 seconds to share a closing thought for the audience regarding this film and the importance of it.
Well, look, you can have faith, you can believe in things, but you must educate your children. They need to be educated. We need to lobby superintendents of schools to allow us to come in free, give them the software, so kids have an internet safety educational program. Because once a child loses their innocence, they never get it back. They never get it back. Because I've dealt with these children. I've seen them 10 years after they've been abducted and done, and they're still not functioning very well. It's a hard thing to lose your innocence as a child. For an 8-year-old little girl to be taken by 2 grown men, or six-year-old boy. This stuff is not fun. We need to educate our children so they don't get hurt. It's a must. It's a must.
All right. Well, we thank you very, very much for your commitment and your passion, and we will help
have
you.
Safe travels.
Thank you for you giving back too, Eric. It takes a lot of people in your position.
Yeah.
Just want to sit back and not do anything, and
No.
I really appreciate you giving it back. I mean, just for personal.
I'm lit. I've had 3 passions in life. One was to be an actor, one was to be a police officer, and now I'm both, and now this is my last and final passion right here.
You got it. We'll be with you on it. Thank you very, very much, Eric Estrada. Tell Jason we said hello, and ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in about a few minutes, whatever that means. See you shortly.
Thanks again, Eric.
Be back.
Thanks for tuning in to Trento Vision, where bad ideas get pulverized and the truth will set you free. Tom Trento can be reached at 561-319-5533 or tom@trentovision.tv. And tune in again weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on AM 1470 WNN. The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of the station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
7 hours, but for only two 20-minute periods 6 hours apart. Whereas the CIA timeline and State Department report says that Phase 1 of the battles against the Benghazi terrorists lasted just over 3 hours, with Phase 2 taking place over 4 hours after the first and lasting for 11 minutes. This could make for interesting testimony from Leon Panetta when he goes in front of Congress on the Benghazi debacle this week.
As Mayor Michael Bloomberg sees it, no mayor has ever, quote, embodied the spirit of New York City like Ed Koch did. Bloomberg spoke at today's funeral in New York for a man he described as brash and irreverent, saying he must be beaming from all the attention created by his death. Koch died Friday of congestive heart failure at the age of 88. An estimated 108.4 million people watched the Super Bowl, making it fall short of setting the fourth straight viewership record. The Nielsen Company says the Baltimore Ravens' 34-31 victory over the San Francisco 49ers was the third most viewed program in television history. With IRN USA Radio News.
Here's some great news from Tom Trento, host of the daily WNN Trento Vision Show. Due to the unparalleled success of the Trento Vision Show, you now have an amazing opportunity to advertise on the Trento Vision Show. If you want more information about this excellent opportunity for your business, please contact Tom Trento at 561-319-5533, or you can email him, tom@trentovision.tv. The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Welcome to Trento Vision, where bad ideas get pulverized and the truth will set you free. Trento Vision is hosted by Tom Trento. Tom can be reached at 561-319-5533 or tom@trentovision.tv. Listen and watch every weekday from 3 to 6 p.m. on AM 1470 WNN and trentovision.tv. Now, let's get a peek at Tom's view of the world. Here's Tom Trento.
I need a microphone. Here we go. Hello, hello. We're back on the air, 6 minutes past 5 o'clock. See, we don't go away for that long. We just have to go potty.
It just feels like it.
Some people like to partake of adult, not beverages, but adult enjoyments. And
okay.
Whatever those may be.
Contextually, that might be
it's called a soda.
Soda, yes.
A soda break.
And but we will in the future have Cigar Talk. We will have that show somewhere.
I think we should have Cigar Talk.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah, that would be a really cool show. I can already see the set design and everything. Can I design the Cigar Talk set?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Yes, you can. We will let you do that.
Thank you. And it will not smell like socks. It will be overwhelmed with the smell of cigar smoke.
It'll be so nice. I mean, right now, the worst cigar on the face of the earth would smell better than the smell in this room.
Maybe we should light a
right
cigar
now
in here to air it out.
to improve it. You know,
And it wasn't me, Tom. It wasn't
it's not
me.
you. Okay.
No,
but
I checked his shoes in the elevator. It wasn't him.
Okay. We're here, Tom Trento with CJ and Mark and Mike, and we are bringing you today information about our launch of the Tea Party community, teaparty.com, that occurred almost 48 hours ago. Actually, it started 48 hours ago right now. We started it. And we ended it 48 hours ago right now because we were viciously attacked by hackers that, for those of you techies out there, a denial of service attack, which means you send so many electronic signals to the website to say, hey, we want to open your homepage. Hey, we want to open your homepage. Then it says, I deny your service. I can't do this. We can't take it. We die. And the site went down.
And in 3 minutes, they'll let you know the
it's 10 minutes, actually, the math.
Huh?
It's 10 minutes. The math is 10 minutes. For the population of the United States,
No, that's true.
It's 10
Okay.
minutes. Yeah,
Okay,
well,
you're right.
3 minutes, 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, at the rate the attacks were being launched by whomever, do we have any idea who did this?
Not right now, but we are investigating.
Are these kinds of hack attacks situations that you can actually analyze and investigate and get to the bottom of?
Yes, you can, Tom. As a former network engineer, Cisco network engineer, yes, you can. You can most definitely track these things down and find out who's causing them. And we will get to the bottom of it eventually.
So they have a return address. So we will know who is at the control center trying to shut down Tea Party community. Well, that happened 2 days ago, and we kind of struggled our way through that. So today we're using this time, Monday, to help get folks back up to speed. We want you to go to Tea Party community. We're talking about the principles of the Tea Party community. And before Eric called in the last hour, Eric Estrada, hey, guess what happened?
What happened?
During the break.
Yeah, this is fantastic. Eric, if you're listening, he's probably not, but it's okay.
If you're listening, Eric,
we'll send him an
one of our friends, Scott, who from Calvary Chapel, sent an email and said, it was a great interview. We went quickly. We really didn't give out the website or how to contact Eric.
Well, it was on the thing the whole time.
Yeah, he's probably driving, though. We also have
Right.
radio people, listening.
Go ahead and give that out again then, Tom.
And he wanted to hook up with Eric to bring Finding Faith to Calvary Chapel, to their Faith Forum deal, which is I've spoken there many times. Nice program, about 100 people. For this to be
they would have hundreds or thousands.
Yeah, sure, easily.
It's a huge.
Yeah.
This would be big.
Yeah.
So if you are involved with a church, you can go to
Finding Faith. I'll put it up on the screen for you.
FindingFaith.com.
Yep, well, it's actually
FindingFaithFilm.com.
Finding
Faith. Sally sells seashells. FindingFaithFilm.com. FindingFaithFilm.com.
FindingFaithFilm.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
But before Eric,
But you can contact Tom Trento. Here.
Sure, yeah, do what he did.
Tom at
TrentoVision.
TrentoVision.tv.
And we can put you in contact with Eric. And if you have a significant event going on, and it's and you're a large church, you don't have to be a large church, but yeah,
any size, they'll do anything. I spoke with Jason.
Right.
They'll be with small groups, large groups. They're trying to get the message
And synagogues too.
And would it be
or-
great?
Sure.
And would it be
absolutely.
great if we could actually arrange a multi-city stop down here in South Florida for him? And
I got a better idea.
Well, we would do
What's that?
multiple venues.
I got a better idea.
You
What's
got a
that?
better idea?
What's your better idea?
For us, anyway.
Yeah.
What do we have right here?
Oh, that's right. We have a production studio.
Why don't we have a special, like we did with Losing Our Sons?
Right.
And we have a special where we premiere it. We get special time, like maybe Saturday night or whatever. And we promote it, and we get 5,000 people watching it right here with Eric on the line and Jason on the line. And
Or bring
some
them
of
in
the
the
other
studio.
actors. Bring them in the studio. We use our strength.
Right.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
There you go.
That'd be very cool. So I don't want to mention to him then. I wanted to check into it a little bit.
Yeah, you wanted to
But,
ask us first
yeah,
live on the radio so that we can say no.
Hey, Tom.
No, it's an
Mark,
idea.
Hey, Mark, I'm
I
going to
gotta-
volunteer you something for
I got to
something
look
else.
at the
Yeah,
logistics.
yeah.
Just another live show. It's so much fun to do.
Like I'd have nothing else to do.
These live shows remind me of Walenda. What's his name? Ken Walenda walking on the tightrope. Like
The flying Walendas.
He's
Yeah.
gonna. We need one of those long sticks that just keeps the show on the air no matter what. But before Eric Estrada called in, we couldn't even get a chance to have calls. And he emailed me. They were going to come on at 4:30, and because of all these backed up radio interviews, he had to go to 4:45. Otherwise, we would have had more time with him. Usually, when you have more time with a person. But Jim before asked the question of what is really the role of the Tea Party, and as an evangelical Christian, and I was interested in how Jim was responding as an evangelical Christian. I was interested in seeing that Jim is typical of the problem that the evangelical community faces, and you guys are not born again, Bible believing Christians like I am. You guys are not that. But did you notice the deficiency in Jim in one area?
Yeah.
Yes.
What was it?
Well, it doesn't translate into civic responsibility at all, which
No,
I don't
it's-
get.
Yeah, well, and I found personally, looking at this from an outside view, not from the inside view like you or Tom, or from another faith view, but just kind of a pluralistic view, I find that Christians in general, have a I'm not speaking for Jim per se, but the Christians in general are sitting there waiting for something like the end of times coming. It's like, oh, well, we can do anything about it anyway, so we'll just hang back. It's all prophesied, blah 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 blah. And I'm going, I look at your books, I read your material, I there's no way that it says you just sit back and eat your Cheetos and watch your TV,
Your
until
Doritos.
until the end of times comes. I mean, that's just insane. I mean, how do you think you're going to, be one of the chosen ones lifted up in the sky if you're just sitting back there eating your little Doritos chips?
And that's why I tried to ask some qualifying people, and Jim, and no disrespect meant to Jim if he's listening,
right.
No.
but a challenge meant to Jim.
Yes.
Right.
That one of the reasons why we're losing politically is because people like Jim have a very personal faith. It's very personal, very segmented. They live a bifurcated life. Their politics is somewhat over here, and their faith is over here, and never the twain shall meet.
Because of this erroneous concept which I think was the basis of my argument earlier, was that this is not a Judeo-Christian nation, and the whole purpose of the Constitution was to separate the church from the state, and never the twain shall meet.
Okay.
No.
Okay, but whether that is true or not, and that is,
Right.
you can debate that point all day, all
actually,
night.
You can't
Well,
debate
Yeah,
it.
you can.
Until you get the facts.
Until you get
facts.
the facts. I mean, that is debate. I can see where people would debate that. But you cannot debate the fact that if you are disengaged from public life during these times, you are putting all of us, yourself, your family, your community, your country, at risk. Our nation is under attack from foreign enemies
Fill in the blank.
and
Fill in the
domestic
blank.
enemies.
Yep.
Enemies,
Period.
foreign and domestic.
Enemies, foreign and domestic. And if you do not see that, or worse, if you do and you think it is not your responsibility to do anything about it, then that is something that I just do not understand at all. And this particular man, and he sounds really nice.
Nice guy, yeah.
And when you asked him the question of, would he intervene at the county commission level if something unfair publicly was occurring? And he said yes, he would, but he apparently draws the line at the federal government.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? That means you take an interest in the school board or the county commission, but you're not going to pay attention to what's happening in your state legislature or what the Congress is doing,
Which affects
or
your
that
county.
or that the White House has been infiltrated by sworn enemies of the United States, and you're doing nothing about it. Where's the actual line in the sand for these people?
I tell you what, here's how insane that argument is. He's trying to say that the founders of the Constitution were not politically active. Because, they weren't religious? No, they were extremely religious. They were religious beyond insanity.
That's an interesting
religious.
angle. Yeah, that's an interesting angle.
Because, our founders of the Constitution weren't concerned with religion?
The 56 signers, many of them were ministers.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you look at it just from that angle, Thomas Jefferson, more of the Unitarian concept, says, hey, yeah, we got to unite all these religious entities, into a unified direction.
All right, so we have a couple of issues going on. Tom Trento at 17 minutes past 5 o'clock. We're on Trento Vision on the video side. If you're watching, and many of you are watching, I mean, we have people on Tea Party Community, people on Trento Vision watching. But on the radio side, if you're driving in your automobiles, you just got out of work, it's 5:17, you're going home, you're going to go get a cup of coffee, whatever, you're listening. You're on WNN 1470. We deal with national security issues here on the Trento Vision show. But we, exactly 2 days ago to the minute, we launched Tea Party Community nationally. That is an alternative to Facebook. It's a community organizing communications hub on the internet. It looks like Facebook. It smells like Facebook, but it ain't Facebook, okay?
You won't get banned for a conservative post here.
You can have as many friends as you want.
But if you're a troll that's out there, and we mean by troll, like a liberal troll out there running around trying to post porn.
They're posting porn.
And all this other stuff, trying to make the community look bad.
Really?
It's
Oh, man.
They've got scores of people cutting it down. I mean, it's very, very hectic and busy right now.
Yeah, because they're trying to shut it down and make us look bad. You guys are just, you know what? The only thing you guys are doing is making us mad.
Yeah.
I hope you realize that.
You're just making a case for why we need to multiply our numbers. That's all.
Glad. Yeah, what we're talking about is the stupidity of the left trying to shut down and suppress the free speech of TeaPartyCommunity.com. I don't know of any conservative group that would shut down any liberal group to express their views, because our arguments are made by liberals spewing their nonsensical points.
We're not the ones trying to shut the
principles.
We're not the ones trying to shut up freedom of speech. I mean, yeah, if a liberal wants to go out there and says, "Hey, I want to be a socialist," so yeah, go ahead and make your point. But you're even though you're a knucklehead, you have the right to be a knucklehead.
Sure, yeah. So we're talking.
Well, maybe you could explain then what is botnet?
Botnet?
Yeah.
I'm not. What do you talk about? Like a botnet?
BOTNET.
I know what a bot is. I don't know what a botnet is.
It was
I think I know what it is. But
a website. Yeah, the servers were attacked by a botnet.
Okay, I know what that is.
Okay.
And the attacks came from Pakistan, Afghanistan, France, Germany, Russia.
It's a combination of networks attacking at the same time, and that's where you get
they're also
a multiple service attack.
But the botnets are little programs.
Mm-hmm.
I was in a fascinating facility that, curiously, ironically, mirrors what Eric Estrada was talking about with child predators.
Mm-hmm.
I was in this facility not too far from here, actually, and they monitor child pornography throughout the world. They can actually see real-time use of child pornography, which is illegal virtually in every country.
Right.
Particularly America, and they showed me several times how this thing works. What they do is each piece of video has an electronic fingerprint,
Mm-hmm.
and when they capture somebody and they arrest somebody and they catalog all the videos, they find the fingerprint of that particular video. Let's say it's child sex part 1, right? Well, they have a fingerprint for that. That video has been duplicated thousands of times all over the place. They can now take that fingerprint, put it in this little botnet program,
Mm-hmm.
and send the botnets all over the internet like this,
Mm-hmm.
looking for where that is playing right now on the internet. They find that electronic signal. And when they find it, it hits, and I'm looking at this big screen of the United States of America with all these dots on it, and they go, "Where you want to go, Tom?" I said, Southern California. And they zoom in, and they can zoom in like Google Earth,
Mm-hmm.
and they go right into an area, and they show a home that is the target home that may be under investigation.
Mm-hmm.
And about 10 spikes come out of it, 10 spokes. And what's happening is, right now, that home is showing child slave part 1, and 10 people are tied in watching it with this as this person's playing it.
Oh my gosh.
So they know all of these people. Now they know what home it's in.
Mm-hmm.
They know what the computer is.
Mm-hmm.
Now they launch their investigations
Mm-hmm.
into child pornography. And when the time is right, they raid these people. Amazing. So those botnets are little programs that fly out.
Okay, but they also could be used against you.
They could be used against you. These
Yeah.
were finding this information and bringing it back. Robots.
Right.
It's short for
Yeah.
like robots.
Yeah.
Digital robotic. Anyway, after that crazy little interesting.
I think that was
diversion.
invented by the Israelis.
Could be. We were.
Typically.
We're talking about Christians. Let me get back to the Christian thing.
Yeah.
And if you noticed with Jim, I was trying to establish a principle that, of course, I would get involved if my city wanted to ban Jewish people or black people or whatever, something absurd.
Mhm.
Of course, I would do that. Well, then you're saying that this artificial wall you've erected that keeps you from having your faith influence civic work really can be overcome. You can leap over that if the situation demands it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you got to walk people like Jim through, because 30 years he's been living in this little privatized Christian world of just sharing his faith with people and watching everything go to hell. But he's been conditioned by society to say, you know what, I really don't have any. He's saying, I don't have any right to talk about anyone's
Right.
personal morality, only because he doesn't have the strength of conscience.
Because he's infected with multiculturalism,
Yep.
where there is no moral disequivalence.
Because if you ask them, Well, suppose people want to have child sex, men and little boys. Do you think that's right? Would you intervene in that private relationship? Well, of course I would. So this is who we have to break these Christians out of this very privatized faith to see that their faith proceeds and flows into all areas of life. And politics is simply an ethical decision.
It's a moral responsibility.
It's a moral responsibility, and it's an ethical decision at a time where someone's saying, what do you think about this? We the people, what do you guys think about this? That we don't have a totalitarian regime.
And just going through the raw numbers, when half the Christians do not register to vote, and only half of those who register vote. That's 25%.
Yeah.
Now, you know,
He's you think he votes? He probably. I don't know if he votes.
well, I'm saying maybe he does, but
I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't find it out. But where I'm going with this is that
Regime or dictatorial regime, then the only way we can change things is through revolution. But Jim is back. Okay, let's go. But when we live in a society where each individual is entrusted with a say in the way the government is constructed, that's what a republic is all about. Each individual is entrusted. The framing documents and the ideology coming out of the Enlightenment into the Revolution, American Revolution, was that each person is free to work together to construct the society they choose and desire. Well, then you have to express your voice or the other side wins. So evangelical Christians have a moral obligation to intelligently vote on all areas at all levels of government. But let's see if Jim disagrees with that. We'll bring him back.
we'll bring him back on. Okay. I'm glad he's back on, actually.
I am too. I knew he would call.
Yeah, well, we've beaten the hell out of him. So.
Well, no, I don't think we are.
We were gentle.
I don't think we are.
Oh, we haven't really heard him.
No, we were gentle. Hi, Jim. You're with Tom, CJ, and Mark.
How we doing, guys? It's
Yeah,
funny.
we're back. We had to take the break for Eric Estrada, but we had
Yeah,
to
and I
drop
actually
it.
I left my office and I came back in, so I only heard the last part, and basically I was in close.
I got to defend myself.
30-year Christian wall, and you're wondering if I voted. So obviously I did not express myself well at all.
Okay.
I don't know if you have any questions you want me to answer, or because I don't know everything that you said. But yeah, I vote in every single election I have since I've been an adult. Again, my problem is the federal government legislating, and I know that all laws are moral law, but legislating some pretty finite details. Of course, I understand the difference between gay marriage and marrying children or polygamy or those kinds of things. So I don't know where I jumped the rails and trying to tell you who I was. Actually, I'm trying to figure out who you are and what does limited government mean to you.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. We're
okay.
We might have been talking past each other a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
that could be.
I got a question for you, Jim.
Well, identify yourself.
Oh, this
There's three of us in the audience.
Yeah, this is Mark Campbell, okay?
In the audience, in the studio. You're in the audience.
This is Mark Campbell. And I got a question. Do you think the Founding Fathers were very religious in their beliefs? Yes or no?
Some.
Some were?
Well, I'm not going to ask you to define religion. I think they all believed in a creator. Do I think they were all Christians? No.
Well, would you be surprised about how many people who actually signed the Declaration of Independence were actually ministers?
It wouldn't surprise me or even affect my view of the Constitution of 100%.
Okay. Well, what I'm saying is, you're saying that you shouldn't. If you're one of the, was it 20, I can't remember, 23 of them were actually, I can't remember the exact number off the top of my head, but it's a very significant amount of them actually were ministers. And
well, I don't know the
well, I can't remember what so someone can text me what the exact numbers are. I can't remember, but I know there's a large portion of them that were, and so if you're a minister, you're obviously very religious, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you made a point being that at the federal level, you should not be involved in politics. Yet 23, and you're referring back to the Constitution.
I don't know if he made that point. I'm very confused.
No, I didn't say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very confused that
You
Jim,
said as a faith, you should not be involved in politics.
No.
Okay, that's where I'm confused.
I'm saying that the Constitution does not declare America as a Christian nation.
I never said it. I said they were based on Judeo-Christian principles.
Right, but read the document and show me where it defines us as a Christian nation, where it gives us the power to legislate our brand of morality.
Do you have anything to say before I get going here?
No, go ahead.
go ahead.
Yeah, because he keeps I think Jim keeps talking in circles around the same thing. Nobody here is advocating the government to establish any kind of Christian religion or any other type of religion.
Okay.
So I don't know why you keep insisting.
I don't understand Mark's question.
Okay, let me. This is Tom speaking. Let me try to sketch this out for the audience too. What we're doing is this is actually a very important conversation. We have Jim on the line, who's an evangelical. That means a Bible-believing Christian, believes in the Bible, goes to church, prays to God, believes in Jesus as his Messiah, all that stuff. And these are the ones, 2 million of whom did not come out in Florida to vote in 2012, and these are the ones.
But Jim did.
But Jim did, yeah.
I did, and I'll tell you why a lot of conservatives didn't vote, because of who the party put up. And I mean, if it has to do with his Mormon faith, they're extremely narrow-minded. But what conservatives I know, they would like to see a difference between the Republican and the Democratic Party. And the Republican Party, I don't know if you guys ever talked about what Karl Rove is doing, but to us down here on the street, we're not. We have two big government parties.
Yeah, Karl Rove. In fact, that was.
We actually talk about it quite a lot.
Yeah, Karl Rove just launched a campaign to actually go after the religious right, the conservative right, and the Tea Party, because he feels they're interfering with the traditional rhino, what we call rhinos. But this is perfect. I mean, this is this discussion needs to happen in 2013 on our side to get things sorted out. But I'm more concerned about you personally, Jim, because you're kind of floating in and out, and you say this and you say that. The term Christian America or Christian nation, you said America is not a Christian nation, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Well, let's.
It's not designed to be a Christian nation.
Yeah, the term Christian nation would mean it's a theocratic. Christian is Christ, Jesus, God, would be a theocratic country run in a theocratic way, similar to the way the Vatican is being run in Rome. That would be a Christian nation, or even Rome when in 323 A.D. When Constantine had his epiphany and said, "Oh, I'm a Christian now," and guess what? Everybody has to be a Christian.
England with a state church, which they were very much.
Yeah, of course. In England has a state church even now. Those are definitions by example more than by words of a Christian nation or a church, a state church. Would we agree on that?
Sure.
Okay. Well, none of us in this room would hold that America is a Christian nation.
In that respect.
But where we're playing, not knowingly or unknowingly, with the words is that America was founded on Christian principles and influenced by the Judeo-Christian worldview, the Old Testament and the New Testament. Would you agree that the framers and founders developed their theory of government and of life and of politics by including the Jewish scriptures and the Christian scriptures?
Yeah. Yes, I think. Yeah. I mean, I think the.
You think or you know?
Yes,
No, it's okay.
Okay. No,
It's okay if he needs to think about it.
I'm not attacking it.
Yeah, that all we're saying is that originally the ones who put this thing together, right, wrong, or indifferent, they said, "Hey, this stuff, Old Testament principles, New Testament principles, collected in this kind of fashion with a little bit of other stuff thrown in there. This is the best way to design a civil society." That's what they said. In fact, early on, all 13 colonies, if you remember history, all 13 colonies had constitutions that Jesus Christ was the Lord and Savior of these colonies. Do you remember that?
No, but it wouldn't surprise me at all. There were state churches then.
Well, yeah, but it would kind of contradict your thesis that we weren't a Christian nation. We were a Christian colonies for sure.
Right. Well, but the Constitution also got rid of the state church concept.
Of course, and we all agree that's the best thing in the world, and none of us would want a Jewish state here in America, a Christian state, or a Muslim state, which is the ones who are trying to make it a state.
There were official churches in Virginia and unofficial churches.
Do you know who William Wilberforce is?
Say it again.
Wilberforce. William Wilberforce.
Say that 3 times
William
real quickly.
Wilberforce.
3 times real quickly.
No.
He was the abolitionist in England in the early 1800s who ended slavery.
I know exactly what he is.
Okay, he was a minister, right? And he ended slavery. He launched the campaign to end slavery in England based upon his Judeo-Christian beliefs. Now, do you think that individual who used his religious beliefs to influence civic law and public policy did the right thing?
I absolutely do. I think my beliefs affect the way that I vote.
But do they affect the way you get involved in helping change the way other people vote? Think about that. You don't have to answer that right now.
Yeah, because it affects everything. But I think if your faith bumps up against the founding document,
right? No, that's good.
When you're talking about the way Americans govern themselves, you defer to the founding document if you're an American.
Well, let's take the definition of. I'm trying not to get into the anecdotal situations because they get squirrely sometimes. I'm trying to establish a principle. It's always better to look at complex cases when you have a principle that is a proven principle, and you take the proven principle to interpret the particular situation, because you'll always get, but my cousin is so good, and and yeah, he's a guy, and he's been with this other guy for 25 years, and they just love each other. Well, now you go, okay, is it a good thing in America for men to marry men and women to marry women? It's a huge issue. Our president was confused until his 2 little children straightened him out on the issue a few months ago.
I don't think he's confused on any issue.
Well, that's
slowly revealing who he really is.
That's a major cultural battle. And the question is if you had to construct, in the best of all possible worlds, a society, would you include that men can marry men, women can marry women? Would you include that as the best way to construct a society?
Without the emotion.
I believe that it is I believe it's a local issue. I believe that people decide what type of community.
But that wasn't my question, Jim.
They want to live in. It's not a federal issue. So
it wasn't my question. If you had to design a society from scratch, and next on the agenda, men marrying men, women marrying men, that thing comes up, and they go, Jim, what is your view? In our new world that we're constructing, men can marry men, women can marry women, and then we'll expand from there based upon what your answer is. Would you say, in the best of all possible worlds, that's the best way to have a civilized group of people living together?
I'll defer to the founders. They left it out.
They left it out.
Left it out.
Okay.
There were sodomy laws in Virginia that Thomas Jefferson changed. Okay, they were well aware of what was going on. This isn't a new problem. I'm half Greek, okay?
Are you gay by any chance?
This isn't a new problem. I mentioned before I've been married to my wife.
Okay.
34 years.
Okay.
So it's not a new problem. They left it out. They did not address it. Why? Why is there no federal law?
Okay, that's a losing argument.
Yeah, really.
Well, good. I'm glad to throw you a softball. Hit it back.
Okay.
Why is there no federal? Why did they create no federal law? And why does Michelle Bachmann want to create a federal law? And whose pony do I ride? Do I ride the Paul pony that says leave it alone, or do I ride the Bachmann pony that says, oh no, we can't let this happen?
Perfect, absolutely perfect question. Let's go back to the principle. At which point should your faith influence your politic? And let me rephrase that for you. When you come to the complex issue of men marrying men and women marrying men, as an evangelical Christian, what is the historic position of Judaism and Christianity when it relates to men marrying men and women marrying women?
Yeah, we all know what it is.
What is it?
It's a sin.
Well, do you think it's a sin from God's point of view because it's something great and wonderful for mankind?
I don't. Actually, I don't know why some things are sin and some things are not.
Take a wild guess on that one.
Because it's great for mankind.
Yeah, well, let me fill in the blanks. The historic position of Judaism and Christianity. I'm not talking about Boca Raton Judaism on the left, or I'm talking about the orthodox beliefs of the scribes and the rabbis historically, and on the Christian side, men marrying men, women marrying women is not good before God's eyes and is not good for society because it breaks down the essential structure that God designed to build a society, which is what structure?
The family.
Yeah, of course. So just from an expedient point of view, it's not a good thing. Now, you're struggling with Michelle Bachmann, who you don't seem to like, and everybody else, as opposed to coming at this from a principled position based upon your faith and the historic doctrines of your faith, and then interpret the contemporary situation. You're coming the other way around. That's why you're confused on all of these things. For me, as an evangelical Christian, I understand the documents, and I firmly believe that men marrying men and women marrying women is not good for the family structure, which is the essential core of what a civilized society is all about.
And you don't even have to be a religious person to think so,
not.
because
of course not. And I'm not going to.
And that doesn't mean that we want to put people in jail for what they do privately, and that doesn't mean that we want to discriminate against people for fair housing or jobs or anything else.
None of that.
What we're talking about is something different entirely.
About accepting as national public policy.
You're bigots. I'm asking, why did since we're stuck on gay marriage now, why did the founders leave it out of?
Because it was a no-brainer, because nobody would have thought about it 300 years ago. Gee, why don't we have men marrying men and women marrying women?
It just wasn't thought
And we
of.
just want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to do so.
Jim, they left pedophilia out too. They left pedophilia out.
And bestiality and polygamy.
They left all of that stuff out.
No-brainers too.
Right, out of federal laws.
Right.
Well,
Jim.
Jefferson changed the sodomy law in Virginia.
Jim, sodomy has.
We're not talking about sodomy laws.
We're talking about marriage. And when you're talking about marriage, just from if you just look at it from a purely logical, mathematical point of view, okay, you're looking at it and going, okay, men marrying men, women marrying women is not going to increase the size of your society.
On Monday, we got to get out of here.
It's biologically impossible. Correct? Now, that does not mean that we should pass sodomy laws. Hey, listen, we don't agree that you should, be married, but hey, you know what? If you guys want to live together, go ahead. Fine with me. It's not going to affect my life. Go do what you want to do. I don't care. If you want to have a cohabitation arrangement with your partner, go ahead. I'm not going to stop you from doing it, but don't ask
where the basic premise of the law is
Have
actually
we don't want the federal government
endorsing
this, and then it becomes a human right,
and
then it becomes a lawsuit.
An issue where they come into your church and make your pastor marry somebody against his beliefs.
Jim, I have to cut it here. We just realized we got to get out a little early today.
We have to leave early today.
And everybody on the phones.
It's Manic Monday.
It's Manic Monday. We forgot.
Everybody on the phones, we apologize. We can't get to you, but Jim, hey, you've initiated some great discussion. We appreciate it. Thank you very much.
And please continue listening. I think you'll like us.
Okay. Take care, Jim.
Thank you, guys.
All right, everybody, we got to go right now, and we cut out a little early on Mondays.
And we forgot.
But we'll be back on Tuesday, which is tomorrow.
At 3 p.m.
And the question is, will Tom marry Mark between today and tomorrow?
No.
I think you're already married. All but certificates.
I'm married too.
Yeah.